unmarked vans, and fathers being tossed into Salvadorian gulags without a hint of due process. So I want to be real clear about this. If you say you love freedom, but you don't believe freedom is for everybody, then the thing you love isn't freedom, it's privilege.
Ooh.
Wow.
Good one, Coach. Coach. Hey, he would have been a super good vice president.
He would.
Hi. Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Look, I just want to show the kind of budget that the Stephanie Miller Show is on. This was my Kristi Noem skit for the Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday.
That's right.
Which Bella was forced to film. She's like, I went into college debt for this. We filmed it in my garage. And Chris made this, and I said, "Ooh, you made it so big and black." And he laughed because I know it sounded like it was a
D joke.
Something. It was not. But it was very nice. I was very impressed with it, with your arts and crafts. You get extra points for that. The guy that owns the show said Chris told me that he was barely clothed, and he said he's filing an HR complaint. And I said, well, good. I'm the head of HR. I will review that, and I'll get back to you. I'll let you know. Let him know how that goes.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest selling point. Nearly naked Chris Lavoie.
Okay. And it's real funny.
I put a stop to that. I'm in a tank top. I'm not. I don't feel good about myself.
We negotiated down. I'm a better negotiator than Trump, at least. I went for shirtless, and at least I got a tank top. So we got a gun show, And
I
got more than Trump got from China. Foldy McFolderson from Fold Town, giant.
I was on my knees.
Yes, you were. I did have you half naked and on your knees.
I was cramping.
I saw Bella laughing while she was filming. She was the director.
I was.
Okay.
I was trying not to laugh because that would have ruined the moment.
Right?
You got to throw things at me. You got to hit me.
She had to get a close-up of Kristi Noem's fancy pageant teeth.
Well, you're giving away the entire skit.
I asked you how. You know what? I feel like this is a compliment, but I'm not sure. When I came down, I said, "How do I look?" And you said, "Like Kristi Noem." I said, "Oh, okay. I want to take that as a."
You used to think Kristi Noem was hot.
I did. We told Bella that it was during COVID when suddenly we started seeing all these governors on TV we never saw before.
Right.
And I didn't know she was a Republican, and I was like, "Wow!" And now I'm like, "Blah."
Was that before she got her fancy pageant teeth?
Yeah, that was pre-fancy pageant teeth. I wouldn't have banged her then. She's but like Dana Goldberg said, she's totally my type, sadly.
She is.
She just looks like she could be in an Aaron Spelling production. Sadly for me. Okay, pure evil. That's my type. Beautiful and pure evil.
She looks like Daphne Zuniga, quite honestly.
Yes. But Daphne Zuniga is like the opposite. She's all love and light.
Right.
We love her.
Right. But Daphne Zuniga is your type.
Yes. Well, yes, straight and not interested in me. Which has become my type. Okay, Chuck says, the big not show this Saturday. Hey, Mom, I got my ticket for the big show this Saturday, 9 p.m. Now more than ever, we all need to laugh, so thank you for making this happen. Chuck in Virginia, you know what? We were just talking about that. Comedy is how we take our power back.
Yep.
How we show them we are not afraid. We stand up for free speech. It's because they canceled the comedian at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Amber Ruffin.
Yeah. Excuse me. Oh. I had some pepper. That probably was not a wise choice.
Why are you eating peppers before the
Because I'm not
show?
Really a broadcast professional. Okay. All right. So anyway, what was my point?
I don't know.
Yes, we're taking our power back.
Yes,
I mean,
with comedy.
This lineup. Oh, by the way, just added Dana Goldberg to the big show Saturday. She will also, of course, join us today along with Dr. Doom, Carl Frisch, and Michael Wolff, saucy author.
Yes.
Author of bestseller Fire and Fury, a book about the...
Been wanting to get him on for a long time. He's good.
It's a book about the campaign, so it's sort of like it's like a horror book, right? It's just like, oh, God, do I have to... All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America. Do I have to relive it? I guess we do.
Well, I mean...
But he always has juicy inside stuff. Okay. All right. Wow. Speaking of numbers, that was number one. That book, his first book, right? Fire and Fury.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Can I have my joke bomb? Thank you. In an insane moment, Fox News has just revealed in their latest poll the only president to have a lower approval rating than Trump. First term at the 100-day mark is Trump in his second term. Worst president ever. Wow. Trump's golden age, the S&P 500, has dropped 14% under his watch, the worst performance at this point of any presidency since the index was created in 1957. Wait, I'm not done.
Oh.
New poll has Trump underwater with all demographics, including 45-point deficit with Hispanics. Wow. Wow, that is a lot of.
That sucks at his job.
That's what I want to talk to Michael about. This has got to be the fastest case of F around and find out, right? Or we told you so, or whatever you want to call it in history.
Welcome back to our side.
Yes. Thanks for coming.
Now vote the right way next time.
Yes. Okay. See, I stifled myself. I stifled.
Be nice.
Mm-hmm. How can you be so stupid? I'm sorry.
Be nice.
I'm sorry. I'm going to speak to myself about HR.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to report myself to myself.
as I can attest, HR won't do a damn thing.
I thought it was very benevolent of me to let you wear any kind of shirt. I mean, I don't know.
Well, thank you.
HR gave me a Tums and a Pepsid the other day, so that was nice.
Yeah. So that's true.
Yeah.
And Advil. Yeah. I'm like a walking medicine cabinet.
So HR is also the nurse.
That's probably not legal either for me to dispense drugs to her, but
probably not.
She didn't feel well.
Okay.
And it made me feel great.
She's filming that in the garage, and she's like, is this okay? I was taught in college a year ago. This was not okay to treat your employees like this. Okay, sorry. Oh, by the way, did I mention, I was saying, hey, America, are you paying attention? This lineup is unbelievable.
Yes.
For not the White House Correspondents' dinner. Support free speech. Support. You know what? They can't kill comedy.
Nope.
We got all the sexy liberals, right? John Fugelsang will be your lovely and talented host. Hal Sparks, Frangela. But check this out. Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill. Hang on. Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice, Dean Obadala, JoJo from Jurors, Frank Conniff, and just added Dana Goldberg. And me with a fancy sign. I was really.
And you as Marjorie Taylor Greene too.
You know what? You got the gold star for arts and crafts yesterday. That was I wasn't expecting anything so
it's not
big
that
and
hard,
nice.
really. Don't overpraise me. I like hit enlarge on the font a billion times. That's all I did.
Is that how you do it?
Yes.
I was so impressed. I sucked at arts and crafts.
But you're the wardrobe department too, so it came.
I made my dad the same lumpy ashtray every year, and pottery.
Did he smoke?
Arts and crafts? Yes.
Okay, well then
it wasn't
it
good
was
to
useful.
encourage that. But I made it always. They always had bumps on them, and I was like, "Here, Daddy."
No,
I sucked at arts. And
it was
crafts.
either a pencil holder or an ashtray for me too. So
we would give him that and then Nicorette gum every Christmas. So it was kind of a little bit of a here, but don't. Here,
but don't. Really? Would you give your dad Nicorette gum?
Yeah, every year. Okay. Please stop smoking, Daddy.
Oh, God.
All right. Oh, Chris, who said Hitler's Third Reich was uniquely evil, but there are important lessons. The first step in their descent into hell was the conversion of all questions of truth into questions of power, attack the distinction between true and false.
Jay Cutler.
No, that was Al Gore. How about that? Who said Trump is the worst decision America's ever made, second to his decision to put the Stephanie Miller Show on Current TV. But other than that...
Or sell Current TV to the oil interests in the Middle East.
To Al Jazeera. Mm-hmm. Hey, remember when we used to get...
I'm still bitter about that.
Remember when we used to get paid to be on TV?
Yeah,
and we had real cameras? Remember, there was an actual control room. We had a control room, Bella, full of people that actually ran a TV show that they paid for, not us.
And put graphics on and everything.
Yes. Yes. And then in addition, we got a nice big check for... Hi, we're content. Okay. What did he sell it for? $500 million. And our accountant, Yukon Cornelius?
Nothing.
Just nothing.
N.
Here you go. It's spelled with triple N's.
Yeah, 3 N's.
Yes, the Stephanie Miller Show accountant, Yukon Cornelius. We were like, wait, we were the number one show on Current TV?
Uh-huh.
And he sold it for $500 million, and we got... What did we...
Nothing.
Okay. We had to pay for our own cameras. Chris is the camera operator now.
I
So you know what, America? Go to StephanieMiller.com. Get a ticket for this Saturday. It's only $20, and you support all these great progressive voices.
Yes.
By the way, send some love and light to my friend Randy Rhodes.
I was going to ask if you listened.
Who is going into, I believe, surgery. I don't know if she's already in. I texted her and called her, but it was a sad day, Chris, for America and for broadcasting. I cried. I watched Randy's last show. She is retiring, but she's having surgery this morning. I don't think she knows. She will know until next week what the results are. So please send some love and light. I just texted her that we love her this morning. But anyway, in honor of Randy Rhodes, let's keep, because she would want all of these great progressive voices to stay out there. Remember, we always said, like, take the baton from someone else if you're tired, or if you got to take a rest. Randy's got to take care of her health first. But it's on all of us now to continue the fight that she's fought so valiantly for so long. And I hope and pray maybe she will recover and come back, because she's just critical to I think broadcasting, America, all of it. We love you, Randy. We love you, you big Howa. It's 17 after. I don't know what time you're going in, but we love you. All right. So we have a big show.
Yes.
We have a big show. Let's get to it. 17 minutes after the hour, this portion of...
Hey, I'm John Fugelsang, and this weekend is the political comedy pay-per-view event of the year, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A very special pay-per-view for Americans who aren't afraid of political comedy or facts. Over a dozen comics, pundits, and influencers giving very different mini White House Correspondents' addresses, including Hal Sparks, Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, Frangela, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice of Star Talk, Dino Badala, JoJo from Jurors, and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just added, Miss Stephanie Miller. Catch Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner live Saturday, April 26th, instead of that other thing, because when they silence the comedians, we get louder. Or stream it on demand for just $20.26, because that's a good number to think about. Meethook.live/not. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be deeply offensive to exactly the right people. Meethook.live/not.
Well, hey there. This spring, don't just clean, organize once and for all. It is time to pull all those important documents out of junk drawers, file cabinets, stacks of paper you have piled up, and those password-protected retirement and bank accounts on your computer. You know what I'm talking about. Your next of kin is going to need access to those details someday. That's why the Nokbox was created. The Nokbox is a complete system that helps you organize all of your accounts, possessions, and estate plans, and each Nokbox comes with a comprehensive checklist that helps your next of kin manage your estate when you're gone. From your insurance policies to your funeral directives, your dog's vet information, that's important for me, even the code to your storage unit, the Nokbox helps you organize it all. If you've got a household, you need a Nokbox. And now, for listeners of the Stephanie Miller Show, save 16% off the Nokbox of your choice. Visit thenokbox.com today, get yours, and use the code Stephanie for 16% off. Trust me, your future self and your family will thank you.
Hi, and welcome back to day 94 of the first 100 days of the brand new Donald Trump reign of terror. Today, 12 states filed suit against the Donald Trump administration for the tariffs that Donald has imposed, saying that they're unlawful taxes on the citizens of those states. Donald Trump really didn't care about that. He was too busy walking out to the front lawn of the White House, gesticulating wildly as reporters gathered and looked on. And then as he tried to walk back into the White House through the palm room doors, about a dozen reporters cornered him, and he told us America's making a lot of money. It's really great on the tariffs that he has backed off on. In the meantime, we found out the reason why he was there. He wants to put a big 100-foot flag in the front lawn of the White House and the back lawn, all courtesy of Donald Trump. Now, you can say what you want about him trying to overcompensate for something to do with flagpoles, or maybe he just wanted to have the opportunity to sit on something patriotic. But at the same time, it shows you that with less than a week to go, Donald Trump is at 100 days, or nearly 100 days, as devoid of reality in his everyday existence as a lunatic in a loony bin. See you tomorrow.
It's basically like he's putting a kick me sign, but it's an attack me sign on the United States of America. And because I can't help myself, Ron, I've never been this way, but I'm like, you said it yourself about the BB conversations. I'm losing my mind going, like, could it be? Like, Could it be that he's opening the door to the kind of an attack that will give him an opportunity to use emergency fucking powers to seize total control of the government at once and for all?
Disruption is one thing. Madness is something entirely different. He is a reality show businessman. This amateur hour for our federal government, that is what is most petrifying. So to the Democratic Party, I ask, what about you? The least the opposition party can do is join the fight.
I need the funk. Sorry. We were just having a little anti-corporate frenzy here in the studio.
We've all worked for corporations.
Yeah, they suck. We were just talking about that they just routinely ask employees to do 6 more jobs, but keep the same salary, right?
Yep.
That's all. Just all I'm saying is it's just a warning to both of you. It's cold out there. It's cold and it's scary. Oh, in a new poll, more people are afraid they won't be able to find a good job. I'm just saying it's cold out there. Stay in here with mommy. Stay in here. Okay.
Let me keep my shirt on and I will.
No, you stop your bitching and moaning, snowflake. Me asking you to disrobe. Okay. Show me an employee handbook where that's illegal. There isn't one because I didn't write one. Okay.
Well, you have said to me, F me or you're fired.
Oh, I have said that, but you didn't.
And you're still here.
Right?
Yeah, that's true. Well,
he called me the C word once and he's still here. Bella, just so you know, don't model that behavior. And in his defense, I was being a little C-wordy. Okay. Speaking, JoJo from Jers, our beloved, who will join us at Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday. Get your tickets now, StephanieMiller.com. She said, remember when the economy was booming, I guess I need nostalgia music for this. Remember when the economy was booming, stocks were soaring, we weren't in a trade war with China, we didn't have a day drunk for Secretary of Defense, a couch-ing Cabbage Patch doll for a vice president, an evil, incurious idiot for a president, and we still funded cancer research? Yeah, that was like 3 months ago.
Are we sure that Hegseth is just a day drunk?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
There were reports he showed up in the morning for a show that starts at 6 a.m. drunk.
Morning, day, and night drunk.
He's kind
allegedly.
of a allegedly 24/7 drunk. Yeah. So, I mean, and does it count as day drunk if you're drunk from the night before when you show up to start Fox and Friends, allegedly?
No.
Well, a little hair of the dog will just, whip that right into shape.
Sure. Hey, America, did you hear Trump's I'm gonna put up 2 huge flagpoles. America's never... Flagpole is a word I just thought of. Yep. He's going to put 2 giant 100-foot... Yeah. Joe Walsh said, and this will make his voters feel better about layoffs, rising prices, disappearing 401ks, and a pending recession. He thinks his voters are stupid. He always has. To his point, Chris, who talks down to people more, treats them like stupid, more than Donald Trump? Right? Oh, my God. He does he 24/7 thinks you are Boo-Boo the Fool up in here.
But we're not.
Ay, ay, ay. Oh, speaking of which, James Tate, come on down.
Okay.
He tweeted about this guy. Oh, Nicholas Gilbert. Hi, Nick. He's a farmer in a MAGA hat. There's a picture of him in a MAGA hat.
Okay.
Speaking.
Good.
James says, let me know when he takes his MAGA hat off. Nicholas Gilbert, a lifelong dairy farmer in upstate New York, was shocked, I say shocked, when Trump's tariff suddenly slapped him with a $2,200 fee on his regular cattle feed shipment from Canada, costs he had been told would hit China.
Okay.
You were warned, we tried to tell you. You were warned.
Welcome back.
Right.
Welcome back.
We welcome the stupid farmer back.
We need stupid farmers too.
Right.
As well as smart ones.
I'm just telling you.
We need your
what
vote.
Joe, what do you call it? What's his name? Walsh. Sorry,
Walsh.
Joe. Sorry. He said it's true. He hates his voters. He knows how stupid they are. He says it to their face. So don't lecture me on, don't talk down to voters or call them stupid.
But we welcome them back.
Yes, we welcome you back. And by the way, but I made a jingle out of it.
You did.
Hey, you know what this Saturday and our resistance in general is about, Chris? What Lucky Tran tweeted. They want you to be scared. They want you to be silent. They want you to feel alone. Refuse. Hope is an act of defiance.
Yep.
Accuse me of being a hopium dealer all you want, but hope is an act of defiance. It says you are not giving up. It says you are staying in this fight. I'm not moving out of the country. I'm not quitting. This is my country too.
J'accuse.
Yeah. J'accuse. Viva la résistance. Oh. Okay. What do we label that?
It's there's a button. French music.
Oh, French music. Yeah. Okay, I'll say it again. J'accuse. Viva la résistance. Yeah, because it's perfect this time because this is like the French Revolution.
Sure.
They are telling us to eat cake. Okay.
Or eat eggs.
Right.
They're telling us
No,
to eat
you can't
eggs.
eat those. Who can afford that? Okay, Robert Reich says, "Do not let Trump gaslight you." His point of all the poll numbers I just read, he said, "Do not let Trump gaslight you into believing he has a mandate or is all powerful. Most Americans don't support his cruel agenda. His approval ratings are in the gutter. Individuals and institutions are fighting back in courts and winning. Keep up the fight."
Yep.
See, I picked the two most happy, clappy tweets to start with. Hooray! Okay. Pete in Wisconsin. Hi, Pete. Welcome.
Good buddy, everybody.
Hi, good buddy every morning. So the reason I'm exactly
We're going to have that ready for you every morning now.
Well, you know what? That's some Three Stooges noises. That makes my day.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, the reason I'm calling is I'm furious with the so-called brave Republican Party. Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, I'm looking at all of you. You can stop this right now if you just show some courage, and I promise you will be rewarded for your courage. Stand up to the tangerine tyrant.
Yeah,
Quit the Republican Party. You don't
Right.
have to caucus
No, and
with them.
I've said that but I do have to say, someone said, don't, like, as you talk about getting people back or getting them on our side, you got to give Lisa Murkowski some points for at least speaking out.
Yes.
Like, it's a start.
Right.
Like, right? At least, unlike other people, at least she's admitted she's afraid
Yes.
of retaliation and their voters. And that's a step for encouraging other.
Do you?
Who are we aligned with? Putin and war criminal Netanyahu. Who are we against for no reason whatsoever? The dumbest trade war in history, not my words, the words of that far left progressive outlet Wall Street Journal, right? Trump is the dumbest trade war in history against Canada, against Mexico, against South Africa. Now we're alienating South Africa. We kicked out Ibrahim Rasool, the South African ambassador who fought apartheid. Why? Because South Africa, said that Israel is committing a genocide. We're going against the EU. We're going against Greenland, against Denmark. And the EU now is openly saying we cannot look at the United States as an ally, but we have to look at the United States as a threat. Who does this benefit, John? To me, two people, Putin and Musk. Yeah. And so this is why I'm thinking he's running like a man who says, number one, I got all the power. Number two, what are you going to do about it? You little bitch. Hey, I got to talk like MAGA right now. Huh? You loser, you lib. What are you going to do about it? Number three, even if something happens, I'm an old man. I'm going to get paid. And let Musk and Putin take care of the rest.
So if we're moving to a world, Wash, where the three empires control everything, right? I mean, as long as we're talking about invading Canada, invading Panama, invading Greenland, all to rape these countries for their natural resources because plunder's been the way since the doctrine of discovery. If we're moving to a world where the three dominant empires that control all land masses are China, Russia, and the U.S. European alliance, I can think of two of those empires that would really want to destroy the U.S. European alliance. I mean, it's the smoothest way to do it. You want to take over Europe, get America out of the way. America can be isolated over here and do its own thing. That seems like exactly what Putin wants, and Trump, by giving out Kremlin propaganda almost every day.
That's right.
And tomorrow he's going to announce that there's a fictional Russian force surrounding Ukrainian troops in Kursk, and he is going to make them go away, even though that is not happening. And tomorrow he'll sell himself as the miraculous peace bringer, and 1/3 of the country will believe it without checking the facts.
Look, I've been saying it as well. I believe Russia wins. I believe China wins. I believe our enemies win. America becomes more isolated. America's already being isolated. In Canada, the nicest people on earth, they're seeing elbows up and booing the national anthem, right? Mexico is telling people not to go to Texas because we have a mother effing measles outbreak because of right-wing disinformation and the decline in childhood vaccinations. So now we have people dying from measles. We have bird flu. We have COVID. We have a TB crisis in Kansas. We have RFK, an anti-vax nut, as the head of HHS. We have Tulsi Gabbard, who retweets the nuts and conspiracy theorists, as the head of DNI. We have Kash Patel with no experience as like the Luca Brasi of the Trump administration, openly telling people, I'm going to use the FBI purse to go after our critics, media critics, political critics. And now we're kidnapping and deporting anyone who's seen as a threat. We are in the age of authoritarianism. That was my piece today. If people are listening, please read it. It's on the Left Hook Substack. Tell me if you agree or disagree. I brought all the receipts. And I believe, John, as is clear from this week, the judges won't save us. The Democratic leadership won't save us. The media won't save us.
Correct.
Republicans won't save us.
Correct.
It'll be up to us.
Yep.
And we're in it now, John. And the people who say this will never happen here, this can't happen here, this is America, the guardrails, this is a failure of imagination. We are not special. This has happened all over the world. Syria, Hungary, right? Russia. Who are we? We're not special. We just destroyed ourselves. And so now we gave power to an authoritarian. And now this is the challenge of our lifetime. You and me, John, we're fathers. We've lived a good life. But, maybe like me and Danielle say this, and pardon me if I'm taking a little bit a beat too long, but just let me end on this. Each person owes a death, right? We all got to go. And Elon Musk is terrified of death, just like the Pharaoh, but they're all going to go, folks. And, it's that line from Caesar, right? Shakespeare said, cowards die 1,000 deaths every day, but those who live with courage die one death. And so now is the test. We're in it. And what do we do with the time that we have? What do we do with our abilities? Do we say, if we're lucky enough to live to our old age and be grandparents, we were there, we marched, we fought? Or are we going to be cowards who will bend the knee and put our heads in the sand and think that we'll be protected? And if you think you'll be safe, folks, let me tell you this, as a student of history, fascists come after everyone, everyone. So now's the time for us to unite, mobilize, start at a local level, and resist at every single level you can in every single way, and start with your voice. Don't give up your voice. Don't obey in advance. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I love it. The only thing I disagree with is Elon Musk is not most afraid of death. The thing he's most afraid of are sit-ups. Wajahat Ali, it is such a pleasure to have you on this show. My God, you make me filled with such dread and hope at the same time. How dare you, sir? What is the best way for our evil army of the night to follow you, Waj, and keep up with your brilliance?
See, on China, no, the tariffs are back. And so then the stock market, I'm just like, oh my God, when we get to the end of this whole thing.
Stock market's down 200 points right now.
Yeah. Covey said, I love how the Chinese just sat back and let Trump argue with himself in public over tariffs, and now he's walking them back without the Chinese lifting a finger. He said, so after all this economic carnage Trump caused, he's ready to just cave to China with nothing to show for it. Yes, because he's a giant. See, that's why you got to stand up to him. He blinks every single in time. Yep. Thank you. Let's bring our friend Carl. Carl, let's talk to our fancy Fairfax County School Board friend, shall we? CarlFrisch.com. Hi, Mr. .com. Hi.
Good morning. I got a hot stock tip buy Stephanie Miller Show subscription.
Yes! Oh my God, that's a fantastic idea. Thank you. Okay.
That's how stocks work.
That's right.
Carl, let's talk about your area of education. Again, like Harvard. Right? In a world of, bend the kneers, be a Harvard. That every time someone stands up to them, right, and then they're like, oh, we just sent the letter by mistake. It was supposed to be a negotiation. Right? This is the lesson about, because Harvard's going to kick his ass in court.
It's been interesting to watch. I was particularly interested in the Harvard thing because if you think about the clerks who kind of run the federal judicial system, how many of them are from Harvard or other Ivies, right?
Right.
So, that seemed suspect to me. I also just saw a headline that the administration was calling university professors to find out if they were Jewish.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I mean, this is where we are. By the way, Jack tweets, the law firms targeted by Trump are fighting back. There's only one way we win this battle for democracy: fight for our rights and never back down. The mantra must be fight collectively. We need that mindset to hit critical mass. Until it does, every person or entity that gives in screws us all. And that's exactly right. And we're winning in court case after court case, right?
Yeah. Well, and, to that end, there's a lot of different types of resistance. And one type of resistance is being ready for next year. So people should remain engaged. People need to be ready for next year's elections. And because that's how, you can put some muscle back in the co-equal branch of government called Congress.
Yeah. And by the way, this is in every area, Carl, even in media. I always say, I watch Nicole Wallace, so sometimes my upstairs TV's on my bathroom, so I can check news in the morning, is on MSNBC, even though I've switched to CNN in the morning because, Joe and Mika were the first ones in media to bend the knee. But I literally caught a conversation with them talking about CBS bending the knee and what happened at 60 Minutes. I'm like, no, you have no credibility yet left because you're the first ones in media that went to kiss the ring. So, but that's what I'm saying. It's in every courage or cowardice is contagious, right? Universities, media, law firms, you name it, right?
Yeah, and I think it's also worth pointing out that, it's never too late to course correct and do the right thing.
Right.
Right? If media has disappointed, tomorrow they can do better, right?
Yeah.
Everybody can do better every single day. Some days your 5 friends who are super active are going to be tired and you need to pick up the slack. And the other days you're going to be tired and they're going to pick up the slack. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
And so a little grace, but only a little, because people have to stay in the fight.
Yeah. No, I was just saying of our dear friend Randy Rhodes, who retired yesterday. She's dealing with health stuff, so you take the baton and you keep fighting for, the people that you love. So
right. If you liked listening to Randy,
yeah,
how do you make sure that the things that she talked about, the things that she fought for, continue?
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Support all these great voices on Free Speech TV and Sirius XM Progress and on. All of you guys, all of our regulars and semi-regulars. So you got to hope that sometimes people, maybe if she takes care of her health, she gets back in the fight. But that's exactly right. Giving up is what they want, and that's the one thing we can't do. And by the way, Lincoln Project said Trump is caving to China, Musk is leaving politics with his tail between his legs, and the world is laughing at us. MAGA wants a strong man that they pick, but they pick the weakest man around. I mean, and that's proving true in every level, right, of their government.
I don't know about that. I think this is 12-dimensional chess.
And now Trump is eating the chess pieces. That's where we are.
Right. Next week they'll call it 14-dimensional chess.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's just we were saying the incompetence is just, he has made this version of the Republican Party, Carl, that you and I always talked about, back from when our families were Republican. They've just made them ridiculous. I mean, they've made them have to defend ridiculous things. Wait, this one, Kevin Kramer, Republican of North Dakota.
Yep. Okay. I'm confident that Pete Hegseth can still be and will be a great Secretary of Defense. He's going to need some help around him. I think one of the things he has lacked in the early days is some real expertise, institutional expertise in the building, and that's part of why he's there, is to bust up the club a bit. But I think the monster that is the Pentagon was a bigger monster perhaps than he even thought.
Who said
That's just a whole bunch of nonsense?
Exactly.
Who said about Pete Hegseth attacking DEI? If you're a white Christian cisgender macho MAGA man, you can be as dumb as a rock and be deemed qualified to serve as Secretary of Defense.
Ronnie Coleman.
That was Susan Rice, Ambassador Susan Rice.
Oh.
I mean, please, the DUI hire. Right. I mean, Carl.
Let's be clear. First of all, the senator there did not say that he is a good Secretary of Defense, right? Or capable.
Fox said there's a learning curve. He's on a learning curve.
Yeah,
you know how it is.
He lacks judgment. He lacks discretion, discernment.
Sobriety.
Mm-hmm. Institutional expertise is surrounding him. It is there.
Yes.
He just has to avail himself of it.
Exactly.
And of course, he hasn't.
Yep. Here's Joe Walsh's 100-day mark. 94 days of chaos, dysfunction, ignorance, incompetence, cruelty, lawlessness, a booming economy wrecked, a united free world shaken, the fraud known as Doge leaving damage and destruction in its wake like the morning after an all-night frat party. Here's one good thing. They can't blame DEI for this absolute show. This will be the first worst 100 days, I think, of any presidency ever, won't it? I mean, people were saying we've had bigots, we've had crooks, we've had incompetence in the Oval Office. Trump is a unique combination of all of them, isn't he?
Well, it's not only, it's also the longest 100 days. And I know that sounds logically impossible. God, yes. But it's the longest 100 days that we've ever had in the presidency. Scientists will be studying it forever. Of course, they'll be doing it without government funding. How they packed so much awful and, at least 500 days of awful into 100 days.
Right. It's true. We've learned new, like Scaramucci's are for the shortest amounts of time.
Sure. Yeah.
What will we call these 100 days? What will they be called? Oh, here's another win. Hang on. Hold, please. Reuters, U.S. judge blocks Trump's shutdown of government-funded radio broadcasts. I'm going to say Randy Rhoads did that. That was her superpower, her final day of broadcasting.
Right.
I mean, Carl, it is, I know, you're right. It's exhausting. I mean, this is not the way our country was, have to have an administration sued literally almost hour by hour and stopped from doing illegal things, right?
Well, that's the plan, right? The plan is overwhelm in hope that stuff gets passed because it can't all be responded to. Well, right now it seems that folks are doing a pretty good job of responding to things.
Right. Let's talk about let's talk about Ukraine for a minute. Ronald said, so basically the position of the Trump administration is if Ukraine doesn't agree to all of Putin's demands and hand over their power plants and mineral rights to the U.S., then they don't want peace and we should walk away from them. I mean, this is the most unshocking conclusion ever, right? Is he just wants to hand Ukraine to Putin. I mean, he hasn't asked Putin for anything, right?
No. Wasn't included in the tariff sanctions, wasn't included in any, and I have I have zero doubt that if Putin asked for more, he'd probably get it.
Well, yeah. I mean, how much clearer can it be that Trump is a Russian asset? I mean, this is Nick Grossman. One last one. Trump team 2022 to 24. Peace in Ukraine is so easy. We'll accomplish it in a day. Trump team 2025. Hey, you, Ukraine, give Putin what he wants. Ukraine, no. Trump, hey, you, Europe, cut off Ukraine so they get scared and surrender. Europe, no, we shan't. Trump team, well, we're out of ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the art of the deal again, right?
Well, the art of the deal is that there was never any deal making going on.
Right. And
the art of the deal is PR.
Yeah. I mean, it's they both, and I believe J.D. Vance, did he say something? I believe it was something like almost like both sides do it in Ukraine, because both sides are equal. As you know, Carl, both sides do it in every situation. Everyone's equally to blame.
Only in the president's world does winning look like announcing a tariff policy that shocks the world, getting no meaningful concessions of any kind, rolling all that after telling the American people how important it was and how they're going to have to sacrifice for it and that we've got to stay in it and don't be weak, and then rolling a lot of it back with little explanation.
Yeah. I
mean, it can't be both. It can't be the medicine we need and then something that's easily rolled back. It tells you that there's there's no real thinking going on there, and B, there's no confidence in the decisions that are being made.
Yep. Well, obviously, brand new poll from Pew Research shows 59%. That's almost 60, Chris.
I've heard, yes. Mm-hmm.
Of Americans disapprove of Trump. This makes him the most unpopular president at this point of a term in U.S. history. As a former political strategist, that's got to give you some. I mean, first of all, it is pretty shocking, isn't it? I mean, have you seen polling like this in the first however many days of a presidency?
No, and I think part of it has to do with the American people will give a lot of latitude to a new president in the first 100 days, and it's really they're not saying go do whatever you want. It's I'm going to withhold judgment for 100 days and see how you do. That's basically what they're saying, and they'll give a president high marks for that period of time until they can step back and say, okay, I like or I don't like what you've done here. And I think many Americans have come to the conclusion very early into this 100 days that this president didn't just squander his opportunity to help them with the economy. He did everything he possibly could to make their lives more difficult.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, best of luck to you, Carl. Children of the future. Go take care of that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Whatever you do on the Board of Education.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
Thanks, Carl.
47 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show. Thank you for putting on the sunglasses.
Buenos dias. Yeah, yo estaba in El Salvador. See if I could talk to Abrego Garcia de Garcia. I told him we're going to do everything we can in Reno to get you back. We're taking all the money from our square jar. We're going to try to get a lawyer down there. But I was telling Chris off air, we have something in Reno we call fondue process, which is where if you bring something to put in, melted chocolate, we're going to see our best to get you free.
Okay,
yeah.
It's like due process, but
sure.
but chocolatey.
Yeah.
But chocolatey, yeah. But it's a horrible
pineapple chunk or a chocolate pound cake.
Yeah, I'm going to be heading up a university for the Trump administration. They thought I'd be a good teacher, so I can teach stuff about sheriffing and law-abiding on campus, and let's get off all the law-abiders.
Here's
the dislaw-abiders off the campus, so I'll be teaching that,
good.
and I'll be working for Hegseth and doing his emails from now on.
Totally see Garcia working for Hegseth. Oh
yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I call him. We call him at the office. We call him Drinky Leaks.
Whiskey leaks. All right, here is Representative Robert Garcia following Deputy Garcia on Kilmar Garcia.
We obviously went there to ensure that he continues to be safe, that he continues to get access to counsel. We know that now that through the courts, at least the El Salvadorian government says that he is alive still. We hadn't heard that since Senator Van Hollen's visit. But this continues to be a very, very serious issue for him, his family, and the country.
Yep, and one more.
This case represents a Trump defying a 9-0 decision of the Supreme Court. But we also advocated directly to the U.S. ambassador there on the ground. It's clear from our meetings with him and others that the U.S. Embassy has received no direction to begin any sort of facilitation as directed by the Supreme Court, which is incredibly concerning.
Yeah, you can't say it enough, Carlos. We are in a constitutional crisis. He is defying court orders, I mean.
Yeah. And once again,
you've switched glasses, so you're back to being you.
I'm back to being normal colors. Okay. Everybody points to the Tate brothers case. Like, yes, if you can extradite the Tate brothers and get them out, you can clearly do this. A cost of a human life for him to admit a mistake doesn't mean anything to him.
Right.
The humans are expendable over his apologies.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to a sociopath. I can't be wrong. I can't back down. Although he's doing that with the terrorists with China. Okay, we're gonna soften up a little bit. It's like that's how scary, and that's a revelation of how sick in the head this guy is. He will not go save a human life for a mistake that his administration made.
Yeah.
All you got to do is do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It's part
empathy.
of them not being able to admit a mistake, even though in a court of law they had to admit that.
And even if these people accuse him, I saw a great Instagram from one of our listeners and followers about, even if you think that this person might have been affiliated with a gang, that's what the courts are for.
Yeah.
Then you prove it in a court of law.
Yeah.
And even if he was affiliated with a gang in the past, has he done a crime right now
that's
that was
why
worthy of him being expelled? Right. Like every other Jan 6 rioter who beat up cops with flagpoles and bear sprayed them are out and free.
Yeah, because they got
They should
pardoned.
be in El Salvador with this guy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why they call it fondue process, as you say.
It's fondue process.
Deputy.
It's sticky and it's weird.
So we were just talking about, all these right wingers, Megyn Kelly on down, bashing the Pope literally before he was cold. And you said you tweeted "Happy Easter" from an outsider who started in the really cool Episcopal Church. Maybe this year the real Jesus will have a word with Trump and those fake Christians. Never understand why the peaceful message of all religions is so ineffective to all of its worst followers. Yeah, I mean. It's literally they keep calling him the woke Pope, which is why I wore this today. And I'm like, I keep saying I got really bad news for you about Jesus. If you think this Pope was too woke, right?
Yeah, they're gone. He doesn't align with their cult. He doesn't align with this alpha male fantasy where Jesus is buffed and shoving poor people into the river. Jesus, can you heal me? Get out of my way, beta.
Get out of my way, soy boy.
Get out of my way, soy boy. I'm gonna slap you with my open hand. Yeah, it's just sad. They're gonna make up any excuse. Empathy, as Musk said out loud to them, is a weakness.
Look at the headline. Vladimir, stop. Trump left pleading with Putin after Russian strike on Kyiv. Leaves 6 kids dead. Yeah. I thought he was a big, strong man. Putin was his best friend. Yeah. Does everything he says. Yeah. Huh. Wow. Do you feel like the emperor doesn't have any clothes? And also, people are realizing what a giant he is. He has to grab himself. That's how big a he is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yep. Michelangelo Signorelli. Hi, Mike. Said, so Trump completely caved again after doing enormous damage, saying the tariffs on China will be reduced substantially and he will not fire Powell. Everyone lost. No one gained. I say again, how could 77 million people be this stupid? Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not supposed to call him. Don't call him stupid, Marvel. D.L. Hewley says, Trump does not have diversity in his cabinet. There's no one to blame but unqualified white people for this show. Thank you. Has anyone mentioned that?
No.
It's all... Okay. Kevin in Phoenix, hello. Hi, Kev.
Hey, how you doing?
Good.
You hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Can I just say I'm a over 50 African American male, veteran, and educated. I mean, what you just said about D.L. Hewley, I'm in so many different ways. I'm sorry. I'm gonna take a deep breath.
Okay.
But I can just say this: I am so upset when I hear about the people being disappeared from the streets and things like that. And then they said some really, I don't know how to say this about, they said some really nasty things about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, as if voting for Trump or voting for Jill Stein would really help this. And I think I'm kind of at this point. At first I was like, oh, that's mad. And it's still un-American and it's against the Constitution. But at some point in time, where are these people, the mayor of Dearborn, and these people who said these things about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
Yeah, they've been awfully quiet. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. I was going to say, awfully quiet. Have we seen hide in her hair of Jill Stein or any of the...
God, no.
Okay.
She only pops up every 4 years when she needs to try to mess up an election.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. American opposition threads. Trump has been forced to roll back his stupid tariffs. Hegseth is on the ropes and has lost all his staff. Elon is deflated, leaving government. Tesla's in a doom cycle. Courts are blocking Trump on nearly every front. And Republicans in Congress are cracking now that they're realizing they are going to lose their jobs in the midterms. Don't ever tell us peaceful protest and boycotts don't work. They are breaking this regime. Thank you. Keep it up. I'm in a plucky mood this morning. Have you noticed that? I said plucky. Don't be nervous. Okay. By the way, we keep talking about this whole myth being blown up of Republicans being the party of small government. Kika says Republican proposed registries so far: 1, women's menstrual cycles; 2, pregnant women; 3, people with autism. Things Republicans say don't need a registry: guns, including AR-15s. That sums up everything you need to know, right, about this version of the Republican Party. Okay. I love this one. Lola says Pete Hegseth always sounds like he's arguing with the bouncer. I think didn't that whole Fox interview was right? People that right, because it was even worse because it was like friendly territory. Yeah. So he's that drunk that comes to your house and is like about their ex or whatever. Oh, yeah. He's like Walter the dog about it. Like, oh God, how long is this going to go on? And then he's basically arguing with himself, right? Because you're not even arguing back.
Exactly.
That was you don't even have to watch the Fox interview. This is what it was.
Oh, and then he gets to the growl. There you go.
Right. I told you. I have not had too much. I am staying at the bar. Okay. Victor says if Trump had been president in 1941, he would have just given Hawaii to Japan in exchange for a casino in Tokyo. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. When are we going to say grifter's going to grift? And it's time to throw this bum out. Karen in Chicago, by any peaceful means necessary, by the way.
Yes.
Hello, Karen.
Yes, and what we are seeing with the protests, it's so important for everybody to get out, whenever you can, as much as you can. I am going to say this, that caller that called in about where's Jill Stein, where's the mayor of Dearborn. Let me tell you, I went to the protest on Saturday, 50-51. They're very well intentioned. However, they did have those quote unquote free Palestine protesters, and they allowed them to get up and have the mic and refer to Joe Biden as Genocide Joe, and were able to.
Allison Gill is with us, known to AG as to her legion of loyal followers. This woman is 10 kinds of brilliant. She is an entertainer. She's an author. She's an activist. She's hilarious. And she is one of the most articulate advocates for the resistance. She began the first podcast, Mueller, She Wrote, out of her kitchen in 2017. Trump had her fired, and you can catch her now on the Essential Daily Beans podcast. It is always a great honor to welcome someone who's joining us this weekend for the Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the icon, someone I'm blessed to join on her wonderful show every week. Miss Allison Gill, welcome back.
As Greg Giraldo says, whoa, I better not suck after that introduction.
Well, not to butter you up too much, but I mean, you are one of the people who's keeping me sane in this period, Miss Gill. And it's not easy to keep me sane. There's been lots of pharma companies have tried and they failed, but your brilliance and wit does it. Before we dive into the local politics, though, did you have any thoughts on Pope Francis? I was an unabashed fan. I'm deeply biased. I criticize him on many things. He sucked on women, could have done a lot more for the gays. He was really slow on the Chilean bishop with the child rape. I'll talk his sins all day, and I'm biased. My father was a Franciscan, so when this guy chose the name Francis, I kind of melted. But what's your take on it, and what's your take on the amount of joy we're seeing on social media from these hateful Marjorie Taylor Greene types who are so delighted that a guy guilty of following Jesus's teachings is dead?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you get somebody who's Christian or in a Christian-like religion, like Catholicism, who actually, walks the walk when you talk about the teachings of Jesus Christ, the Christian nationalists don't like that very much because they're trying to move everybody away from the teachings of Jesus. And so, I mean, I liked Francis. Now, I grew up Catholic. The majority of my life was John Paul, and he was not nearly as woke a pope as Francis was. And I'm glad that Pope Francis ordained, I think, 21 new cardinals that'll be gathering at the conclave to select the new pope. I'm hoping.
Oh, much more than that. Much more than that. Over 113, I think, of the 138 were picked by Francis over the last 12 years. We don't know if they're gonna pick someone
as progressive as him. But I wanted to ask you, Allison, I kind of feel like the church would be crazy to go backwards to a Benedict at this point. They'd be
I agree.
Francis brought people back into the pews. Why alienate women and keep people who don't hate the gays this soon?
I agree. And that's, as we shift over to politics, that's why I think we're following people like AOC and Maxwell Frost and Jasmine Crockett and things like that, is because that Overton window that exists for us politically also exists for the church, and canonically, if you will. And so I'm very glad, and I really do hope that all of the cardinals that he's selected find a new pope that will follow in his footsteps and push it even further than Pope Francis did. So I don't understand the hate. I do enjoy the jokes, like the fuck, marry, kill jokes, about it. And I haven't been a practicing Catholic in years, but
Can you share some papal fuck, marry, kill jokes with our unsuspecting audience?
oh, you haven't seen the couch, Usha, and the Pope? For fuck, marry, kill, you haven't seen?
No, but you found a way to make it fun. I swore I was going to resist it, but you just got me. I swore I'd resist, and you got me.
Yeah, I'm neither a fan of, making fun of pontiffs who have passed away, or fuck, marry, kill. But somehow those two coming together with regard to JD Vance put a smile on my face. No, I think he's the most progressive, but just as Joe Biden was the most progressive president we've ever had, he was the most progressive pope we've ever had, I think, at least in modern history. So I hope they continue to go down that path instead of regressing like we did politically here in the United States.
Oh, this is. I mean, this is America was the woman who went back to her abusive ex. You know what I mean? Like she got on her own, got her money right, looked good, lost weight, did Ozempic, and then she backslid, just went back to that asshole. I'm scratching my head why she did it. It's not going to work out. I thought of you today because I couldn't think of a moment that was more about the mediocrity and amoral double talk and jive of this administration than seeing far right influencer and Russian nesting doll, Lil Tim Pool, the Beanie Baby, exposed last summer for taking up to $400,000 a month from Russian state media to spread misinformation. Today,
that's the market value of those podcasts, though. Even though I did a full mathematical breakdown, because I get roughly the same amount of downloads as his podcast, and can guarantee you that is not the market value of what podcasts are worth. It was embarrassing, but par for the course with this administration and the way that the media is going in general. You and I have talked at length for many years about the downfall of corporate media. But I'm not surprised at all. I figured when they started to, decide that they were going to put podcasters, I think this was like a month ago, they announced that they're going to change things up in the press room. And people were asking me, oh, podcasters, AG, you should go. And I'm like, I am not who they're looking for. It's going to be the Tim Pool casts. So.
Yep. If your IQ's above room temperature, they don't want your podcast here. And this little bitch, Tim Pool, who, by the way, got really dressed up for the White House after weeks of berating Zelensky. But Blasphemy Barbie, Caroline Levitt, welcomed him as an unbiased journalist. And I just kind of feel like, at what point, Allison, will the legacy media get tired of these fuck yous to their careers and start to actually challenge this guy? At what point will the legacy media realize that capitulating to him is not helping their circulation or their ratings, and actually act like the Fourth Estate and stand up to this guy? I never thought I'd see Harvard inspiring so many people.
When, I don't know, there are antitrust lawsuits that break up the monopolies that control the media. I don't see it. I don't see it changing. It's when the ultra wealthy are in charge of, the news that you get on corporate media. That's what you end up with. So,
yeah,
is capitulation. We've seen it in big law firms. We've seen it at some universities. We've seen it with mega corporations. But boy, you can speak with your wallet. What was the Tesla report that came out today after the markets closed is that they're down 71%.
71%. Can we talk about it a little bit without giggling too hard? Because the market has spoken, Allison. This is capitalism, and the people are not buying the products. This is like a global version of the Montgomery bus boycott. God bless the people of Germany, where Tesla has just evaporated in terms of sales. I wasn't really expecting to see overall sales down 20% and profits down 71%. I'm becoming very slowly proud of the human race again.
Yeah, and I'm also very glad about that. We see foot traffic down at Target for the past 10 weeks.
States to walk away from this process. We've engaged in an extraordinary amount of diplomacy, of on-the-ground work. We've really tried to understand things from the perspective of both the Ukrainians and the Russians. What do Ukrainians care the most about? What do the Russians care the most about? And I think that we've put together a very fair proposal. We're going to see if the Europeans, the Russians, and the Ukrainians are ultimately able to get this thing over the finish line.
That was what does Jojo call him? The Cabbage Patch vice president.
Yeah,
he
looks like a Cabbage Patch doll.
Cabbage Patch doll.
That just grew a beard.
Yeah. Okay, because as you know, both sides do it. They both need to, right?
Right.
Okay, so please can we send our my negotiator over to talk to Putin, for God's sake?
You get the out of my house now. Get out.
There you go. Done.
Yeah.
That's all Russia needs to do. Oh, well, the doctor's giggling.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I just say real quick? Pete Hegseth, Drunky McRapey, is denying that he has ordered a makeup studio installed at the Pentagon.
Yeah.
Heather said it's not a makeup studio; it's a powder mojo dojo casa. All right. He looks good even without makeup. Look at him.
If I'm going to get bad news, I want from him.
Look at that handsome man.
Dr. Irwin Redlener joins us now. MSNBC medical expert. Dr. Irwin Redlener.
Here he became Dr. Doom.
Dr. Irwin Redlener is the founding director of the National Center for Disaster Preparedness and senior research scholar.
Dr. Doom.
Oh, hi. Good morning, Dr. Doom. Hi.
Well, good morning. I'm sorry you had to play that Vance quote before me coming on here. Now I'm fully depressed. I was happy to be undoomed for a little while this morning, but that's not to be, unfortunately. But how are you?
This whole negotiation, they've asked Vladimir Putin for nothing, right? I mean, it just, and this
they are absolute Putin mouthpieces.
Right.
Putin speaks. It's like a ventriloquist.
Yeah.
And it's just absolutely extraordinary. That's not a negotiation. That's a Russian demand being placed on Zelensky in ways that are absolutely unconstitutional for Ukraine. They cannot even think about what is being proposed, nor should they.
I hate to double doom you, but Caroline Levitt.
Oh, hey, girl.
Yeah.
Hey.
Here she is.
Oh, no.
Okay. Hang on. Here we go. 12,
The president's national security team, his advisors, have exuded significant time, energy, and effort to try to bring this war to an end. The American taxpayer has funded billions of dollars in this effort, and enough is enough. The president's frustrated. His patience is running very thin. He wants to do what's right for the world. He wants to see peace. He wants to see the killing stopped. But you need both sides of the war willing to do that. And unfortunately, President Zelensky seems to be moving in the wrong direction.
Oh my God, Zelensky's moving in the wrong direction. I mean, this is the both sidesing of everything, right? I mean, and we were saying this whole,
like totally Orwellian. She's saying things as if they're truth when they're absolute bold-faced lies, and they are just allies of Putin. Yeah. We might as well just understand that, and it's.
Do we not totally get at this point what a complete paper tiger, whatever you want to call Trump, he caves on everything, whether it's tariffs, whether it's, this story this morning, Trump is not happy with Vladimir Putin, because he took to social media and says, I'm not happy following Russian missile strikes on the Ukrainian capital. Vladimir, stop. Trump left pleading with Putin after Russian strike on Kyiv left 6 kids dead. I thought he was, a big strong man and Putin's his buddy, right?
Yeah. Putin and Trump have a relationship. And whatever he said on Truth Social this morning, Donald Trump, is BS, a cover story, whatever. When it comes to negotiating, he and his team are spouting what Putin wants him to say, period. And he's gone through some motions of, oh, yeah, I wish you wouldn't bomb children, Mr. Putin, please. But the fact of the matter is that Putin's a killer, and he's getting support, moral and otherwise, from Donald J. Trump and his whole team. And it's horrifying stuff.
We always hurt the ones we love the most. This is why I'm playing a second Caroline Levitt for you.
Oh, no. It was President Obama who gave up Crimea, who allowed Russia to take it over in 2014. And so the president is not asking Ukraine to recognize Crimea. Nobody has asked them to do that. What he is asking is for people to come to the negotiating table recognizing that this has been a brutal war for far too long. And in order to make a good deal, both sides have to walk away a little bit unhappy.
Both sides do it. Doc, here's the other thing. Him blaming someone else, according to every poll, is wearing really thin with voters, whether it's Obama or Biden. I think he's mentioned Biden 500 and something times in 90 days.
Unbelievable. And he criticizes like a child. They're not even grown-up criticisms. Right. They're stupid name-calling from a stupid, ignorant man. But I think what needs to be emphasized here still, and again, Stephanie, is how much the Republican Congress goes along with him. And I'm asking, where is the resistance from the Republican caucus to any or all of this nonsense, domestically and internationally, that Donald Trump is proposing? Aren't you stunned that this is happening like this?
Yeah.
Even the Supreme Court is making some decisions that seem rational, but where's the Republican leadership? It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Well, and you summed up since you've been over there, obviously helping kids in Ukraine, you said after 3 years of unconscionable Russian attacks and war crimes, J.D. Vance just delivered an ultimatum to Ukraine demanding they agree to Putin's terms for a ceasefire. That would mean continued Russian occupation of eastern Ukraine, illegal annexation of Crimea, no chance of Ukraine joining NATO. These demands by the Trump administration represent a gross traitorous abandonment of a democratic ally and inexplicable disruptions to an 80-year-old set of alliances with European allies and an unambiguous alliance with Putin's Russia. And there you say it. Will Republican politicians stand for this capitulation to Putin? Will Reagan's party, right, that they call themselves, right? If this disgraceful rejection of longstanding American values is not the final straw, what is? I don't know what is. Disappearing people on American soil with no due process, I guess, is not too...
I guess anything's possible here, but I cannot imagine literally any Republican president in our lifetimes allowed this kind of nonsense to be projected to the world. It is really, it's pretty stunning.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand the psychology of it, other than fear of Trump retaliation that the Republicans seem to be succumbing to.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see. But I'm really worried about this. But on the good side, the optimistic, undoomy side, I do think the dam is going to break at some point. That we're going to start seeing 1, 2, 3, and then more Republicans saying, Mr. President, enough. I'm talking about from Republicans.
Yeah.
And I just strongly believe that that's going to happen in one of these days, and I hope it's not too late.
Let's talk about your other favorite subject, Health and Human Services Director Bobby Kemp.
Oh, boy.
I was afraid you're going to bring that up, Stephanie Miller.
He appeared confused yesterday over the, quote, tsunami of anger caused by a series of offensive comments he made about autism. He suggested he was baffled at the wave of anger because I announced we're going to find the cause of autism. Well, everyone's calling BS on this stupid taxpayer-funded funded study of these long debunked claims that vaccines cause autism. We all know what he's going to say in September. Vaccines cause autism. I mean, so he thinks he's some great savior, and meanwhile doesn't get why autistic people or their loved ones are offended by everything he said.
Well, there's actually a diagnosis for people that cannot read handwriting on the wall, can't read people's faces, don't understand reactions they're getting, and they're sociopaths. And it's really unfortunate that Trump included at a high level in his administration a lot of people who fit a disturbing pattern of really serious mental problems.
Yeah.
And it is amazing to me that Bobby Kennedy Jr. continues to spout the same nonsense, and then he brings people under him like Mehmet Oz to create policies that make no sense whatsoever. We're in deep trouble at every corner of the administration here.
You departed some fun facts on Blue Sky that I had not heard. You said, so TV doctor Mehmet Oz says Americans are not entitled to health insurance, but can get a 15-minute online health evaluation and presumably recommendations to lose weight and stop smoking. You remember the good Dr. Oz? He's the guy whose TV show included recommendations for bogus supplements and helpful hints about how to communicate with the dead. I did not know that, and I'd like to talk to my mom. So I didn't realize, that he...
Well, I took some of his hints, and I spoke to my grandfather. He's doing fine, in case you're wondering. And he's waiting for me, Steph. But anyway, the guy is, he's so nuts, Mehmet Oz. And here he is being in charge of Medicare and Medicaid, the largest healthcare programs in America. That's the guy.
Yeah. By the way, I don't know if you saw this exchange online. RFK Jr. said ADD, ADHD, Tourette syndrome, narcolepsy, autism, all of these are injuries I never even heard of when I was a kid. And Sophia responded, your aunt was given a lobotomy for being depressed, so I guess it makes sense your family doesn't want to talk about stuff like this.
By the way, if you're a heroin addict, it is hard to remember things from your
This is true.
childhood.
Well, first of all, we've learned how to diagnose autism. Like someone said, Pluto was only discovered in 1937, but I'm pretty sure it was in there all the time. Like, it's just, you're right. Nothing he says is based, it's just stuff that nobody talked about it because we didn't know how to diagnose it back then, right?
No. First of all, people did talk about it. He just doesn't remember. That's different than it not being there. And I think this is the problem with him. He's been in an absolute heroin cloud for most of his adult life.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me take that back. He's been a heroin addict for a long,
maybe the brain worm. Maybe the brain worm was the heroin addict. Who knows?
You got to overcome these things. Sure. And one day he will. I'm sure he will. So I don't know.
We don't know. Maybe the worm the whole time is like,
get
me more heroin. We don't know. What? I'm just spitballing.
Incredible.
Okay. Love you, Dr. Doom.
But wait, you know about your reach globally, correct?
I do have global reach. Yes, I do.
You have global reach, and when we were in Spain a few days ago, two guys came up and said, Dr. Doom, this was in Alicante, Spain.
Wow.
Gary and Peter send their love to you.
Aw, I send them a global reach around. Thank you so much. And they loved your Make America Normal Again hat.
Yep. Yeah.
It was a handsome romantic picture. Hi,
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, guys.
In España. All right, goodbye.
Thank
19
you.
minutes after the hour, this portion of the show. Hi, artist formerly known as Bob Seska. Hi.
Hi. Pete Hegseth doesn't sip. That's his distinction here.
Right.
He uses
He
a
guzzles.
funnel. He's from the cocktail funneling crowd.
I smell Jägermeister all over him.
Oh,
whenever he speaks.
Yeah, that's right. Oh my God! Just like a first-year college student, just getting into the Jägermeister. Yummy.
I mean, Bob, it's just incredible. I guess they're sticking with him for now, but I mean, to try to spin this like this is not classified. You don't have to be an expert to go, well, it should be, shouldn't it? To say this plane's going here then, and bombing this target, right?
Right. It's funny. We've been trying to sort of unravel the forensics of how he got some of this information onto his personal cell phone, which he used for this other signal chat with his brother and his wife.
Yeah.
So he was getting classified information through a secured terminal that is only for, obvious secured government business and top secret information. So he was able to somehow transfer that over to his personal cell phone and then share that with his family and whoever else was on that first Signal chat. And then again, when he was on the Signal chat that had Jeffrey Goldberg on it accidentally, whoops. And so we're trying to figure out, did he copy and paste all that information, or did he hand peck it out on his phone or whatever? Who knows? But it's just a colossal breach of national security. And I am very relieved that the Signal Gate story is back and it's front and center. And I hope this actually ends up ending Pete Hegseth's political career.
You remind me, though, can't they at least put like a drunk filter on his phone? You know how you, have complicated math things before you can
send text.
Right.
Yeah.
Something. Just some kind of phone condom for him that might protect us.
That's right. I mean, how do you press those little buttons with shaky hands? I don't know how you... hands just like shaking like a blender.
You retweeted Ron, who said, very brave of Pete Hegseth to go on Fox and Friends to discuss his latest controversy, another hard-hitting interview. And you just said MAGA equals whiny cowards pretending to be alpha. Exactly the same story with Trump and this ridiculous trade war, which he's obviously backing down on already and claiming, like, I had no intention to fire the Fed. Where did you get that idea? Fake news. It's like, you said it and tweeted it yesterday, right?
There's an intriguing thing going on inside the White House right now, which some people have termed as elder abuse, where what they're doing is they're waiting for Donald Trump to be by himself. And then they're rushing into the Oval Office to try to strong-arm him or convince him, cajole him into doing what they want him to do, which is apparently Howard Lutnick and Scott Bessent. And they're trying to figure out ways to sculpt Donald Trump into the things that they need him to do. And in this case, dropping his ridiculous
And he obviously
trade war.
saw the Wall Street Journal. He obviously saw when, Bessent said this is not sustainable, the trade war with China. He saw the stock market come back up. So he's like, oh, okay, I'm going to be very nice to China now. Like he just, after being this big bully, he's like, decides he's going to... it's so incomprehensible. It makes no sense one day to the next. And that's what the markets are reacting to.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It makes no sense because now the two, at least public goals of implementing these tariffs are completely ineffectual. Right. If he wants to use these tariffs to kind of strong arm our trade partners or our allies into doing things, conceding things to the United States, being less unfair to the United States. Right. That's not working because obviously he's willing to pull back. He's the boy who cried wolf. No one takes him seriously on these trade war threats, these tariff threats anymore. And then on the other hand, as far as actually helping the economy, well, that's certainly not working at all either. Yeah. So what is it? What's the purpose of tariffs now? Yeah. It's got to be the thing that is starting to get some traction, which is the idea of maybe he's just using tariffs to manipulate the markets.
I mean, he saw the graph yesterday on the Wall Street Journal. It said worst day in the stock market since the Great Depression. I mean, we're getting ready next week to be the first 100 days, the worst 100 days of any presidency ever. And he, you can see it in the poll ratings. Karl Rove going, he's had a 10-point swing.
Stephanie Miller.
Yeah. All right, we were talking about big box CEOs. That's what they used to call Linda Lovelace back in the day.
Does Bella know who Linda Lovelace is?
No. She's a porn star.
Was.
All right. I can't think of a more current reference. Any of the Kardashians?
Oh, good for her.
Are the Kardashians big box CEOs? All right, let's move on. You said, Kevin Hassett said Trump isn't worried about empty shelves?
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
Not at
all. That's what scared out of him of a bunch of things yesterday. The big box CEOs said empty shelves are coming. I was thinking, Chris, before it was a pandemic. Can you imagine the second time we can't find anything in the shelves and we're wiping our ass with coffee filters caused by him this time, by one man.
Right. This would be the second time we've had empty shelves because of Donald Trump.
Right. Trump got a scare from CEO and markets on Monday. On Tuesday, he blunted some of his sharpest threats because he's a giant pussy, as I've mentioned, signaling a softer stance on China, retreating from fiery rhetoric about targeting the Fed. The CEOs of the three biggest retailers, Walmart, Target, and Home Depot, privately warned him his tariff and trade policy could disrupt supply chains, raise prices, and result in empty shelves. So this is how, then he gets called up. See who's backing down, right? So then Caroline Levitt.
Oh, hey, girl.
Had to go out and say this. Where are we? 7. Here we go. Yes.
Let me be clear. There will be no unilateral reduction in tariffs against China. The president has made it clear China needs to make a deal with the United States of America. And we are optimistic that will happen. And when that continues, it will be up to the president what the tariff rate on China will be. But we certainly need to see a reduction in tariffs and non-monetary tariff barriers from China as well. And we also need to continue seeing these companies abroad return their manufacturing to the United States of America so we can shore up these critical supply chains.
Right.
Oh, he's back to be the tough guy again? He's,
Yeah.
He and Pete Hegseth in his, what did I
Makeup
say?
room.
Mojo Dojo Casa Makeup House?
Yes.
Powder House.
Girls,
Powder
I
House.
really think we need to start catering Chapter from Sweet Green again. Some of you are putting on a couple pounds.
And Rush is coming out.
Every time she speaks, I just wonder if she's thinking, while it's coming out, or if she's missing that cognitive function. But
Art said it though. As predicted, it was another pump and dump on the stock market, endless market manipulation. But what they don't like, the market or anyone else, business owners, is this kind of whiplash, one guy's madman's whims, right? I mean, and by the way, China's ambassador to Canada says Beijing is offering to form a partnership with Canada to push back against American bullying. What do I always say? The world is moving on without us.
It is.
I don't know if we're going to be able to repair this. I hate to say it. Suggesting the two countries could rally other nations to stop Washington from undermining global rules. We want to avoid the situation where humanity is brought back to a world of the law of the jungle again, said the Chinese ambassador. China is Canada's opportunity, not Canada's threat. Yeah, remember when we used to view our friend Canada like that?
Oh, yeah.
He said China and Canada appear to be the only countries taking concrete and real countermeasures against the unjustified U.S. tariffs. I just don't know that he's going to be able to fix this, even if he caves, as he clearly always does, tomorrow. And you can't tell me he's not seeing these headlines too. Americans sour on Trump's handling of the economy. This is Reuters Ipsos poll. There's a bunch of polls out. America elected Trump in hopes that he would fight inflation, boost the U.S. economy as he approaches his 100th day. They're giving him poor marks for the handling of both.
Yep.
37% approve of Trump's handling of the economy.
Wow.
Yikes.
And wasn't he the economic president?
Oh, yeah.
During the election.
The pollster said you have a president who promised a golden age, but everything that's supposed to be up is down. Everything that's supposed to be down is up. Yep. Even if Trump caved, the economy might not quickly bounce back amid the chaos. That's what I keep saying. 3/4 of the people polled, 56%, including 1 in 4 Republicans, say Trump's move to shake up the economy are too erratic. Second headline, Trump job approval plummets as Americans' pessimism about the economy hits a record high. They fear his economic agenda is running the economy off a cliff. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, 3 in 4 Americans think the economy is faltering. Majority say their own personal and financial situation is getting worse for the first time since 2001. Majority of Americans, 55%, not confident in Trump's ability to make good decisions about the economy. Man, on and on. 58% say it's a bad time to find a quality job, the most pessimistic outlook since the peak of the pandemic. Just remember.
They want your money, but they fear your power.
Well, hey there. This spring, don't just clean, organize once and for all. It is time to pull all those important documents out of junk drawers, file cabinets, stacks of paper you have piled up, and those password-protected retirement and bank accounts on your computer. You know what I'm talking about. Your next of kin is going to need access to those details someday. That's why the Nokbox was created. The Nokbox is a complete system that helps you organize all of your accounts, possessions, and estate plans, and each Nokbox comes with a comprehensive checklist that helps your next of kin manage your estate when you're gone. From your insurance policies to your funeral directives, your dog's vet information, that's important for me, even the code to your storage unit, the Nokbox helps you organize it all. If you've got a household, you need a Nokbox. And now, for listeners of the Stephanie Miller Show, save 16% off the Nokbox of your choice. Visit thenokbox.com today, get yours, and use the code Stephanie for 16% off. Trust me, your future self and your family will thank you.
Hey, I'm John Fugelsang, and this weekend is the political comedy pay-per-view event of the year, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A very special pay-per-view for Americans who aren't afraid of political comedy or facts. Over a dozen comics, pundits, and influencers giving very different mini White House Correspondents' addresses, including Hal Sparks, Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, Frangela, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice of Star Talk, Dino Badala, JoJo from Jurors, and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just added, Miss Stephanie Miller. Catch Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner live Saturday, April 26th, instead of that other thing, because when they silence the comedians, we get louder. Or stream it on demand for just $20.26, because that's a good number to think about. Meethook.live/not. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be deeply offensive to exactly the right people. Meethook.live/not.
Hi, and welcome back to day 94 of the first 100 days of the brand new Donald Trump reign of terror. Today, 12 states filed suit against the Donald Trump administration for the tariffs that Donald has imposed, saying that they're unlawful taxes on the citizens of those states. Donald Trump really didn't care about that. He was too busy walking out to the front lawn of the White House, gesticulating wildly as reporters gathered and looked on. And then as he tried to walk back into the White House through the palm room doors, about a dozen reporters cornered him, and he told us America's making a lot of money. It's really great. On the tariffs that he has backed off on. In the meantime, we found out the reason why he was there. He wants to put a big 100-foot flag in the front lawn of the White House and the back lawn, all courtesy of Donald Trump. Now, you can say what you want about him trying to overcompensate for something to do with flagpoles, or maybe he just wanted to have the opportunity to sit on something patriotic. But at the same time, it shows you that with less than a week to go, Donald Trump is at 100 days, or nearly 100 days, as devoid of reality in his everyday existence as a lunatic in a loony bin. See you tomorrow.
Okay, if you're a homeowner, you need to listen up. When is the last time you checked your home title? That is the legal proof you own your home. If you're like me, the answer is never. I was also like, what? Am I supposed to do that? The problem is, in today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles, and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee with your county, and boom, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity and even sell your property. You won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. That's why you need to stop what you're doing right now. Find out today if you're already a victim. Use the promo code Stephanie14 at HomeTitleLock.com. Make sure your title is still in your name. You'll also get a free title history report plus a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts, and they will expend up to $1 million to fix any fraud. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. The code is Stephanie14. HomeTitleLock.com, promo code Stephanie14. book. It's like a flashback. It's like a horror story. It's a flashback to the campaign. But I still love him. Michael Wolff joins us now. Hi,
Yes.
Michael. How are you? The new
How are
book. The new book. All or Nothing: How Trump Recaptured America. Oh God.
Here we are.
Here we are again.
Yeah.
I mean, Michael, you're a fire and fury. Obviously, you have so many. First of all, how do you have so much inside access to all these people?
No, I don't know. It's a good question. It actually sort of goes to one of the things, both the virtues and the peculiarities of Trump world, which is the virtue is that they really are quite wide open. The peculiar thing is that they don't pay enough attention to anything to have kept me out.
Yeah, well, I mean, and here we go. One story after another now about the chaos, about the infighting, like Trump won, except, apparently even worse this time. We were just going over some polling, Michael. I mean, all the things he won on, I've never seen this happen in polling in this record time. Only 37% of Americans approve of his handling of the economy. I mean, and we're not even at 100 days.
Obviously, you have a kind of free fall going on. I mean, and it has happened so quickly and reversed so quickly that it's extremely hard for any one human mind to focus on this. Yeah. Which is actually what helps to give him the pass that he manages to get. Even 37% is pretty strong compared to the catastrophe at hand.
Yeah. Well, I love the description of your book. All or Nothing paints a gobsmacking portrait. That's a good word. Mm-hmm. We're still gobsmacked. Gobsmacking portrait of a man whose behavior is so unimaginable, so uncontrolled, so unmindful of cause and effect that it defeats all the structures of logic of civic life. This is not just a story about politics. It's a vivid expose of the demons, discord, and anarchy, all the fire and fury and future of American life under Trump. As everybody keeps saying, this has got to feel like the longest 100 days of any presidency ever.
No, I mean, again, just an extraordinary time. I mean, and there were many people I know who began these 100 days saying Trump 2.0 was a different Trump, that there was a new discipline, a new efficiency. He had learned from his first 4 years. This is totally untrue. It is exactly like the first 4 years, arguably worse. I mean, you can go down through just the litany: Hegseth, Kennedy, Bondi, again and again. You have a set of people running this government who A, have never run anything, B, who are in themselves so problematic. Yeah. Hegseth, a fox talking head and a 5 martini a day guy.
Yeah. Only 5?
I mean, Bobby Kennedy and so he says a former drug addict, but everything he does with such obsessiveness and such disregard is the things an addict does. I mean, again and again, Pam Bondi, one of the dumbest lawyers in Florida. I mean, over and over and over again. Should we say Kristi Noem? Sure. Whose entire, I mean, the entire Department of Homeland Security seems to be organized now around this affair that she's having with Corey Lewandowski. I mean, should we go on?
Yeah. Well, and that she can't secure her own purse. These stories would be too comedic for you to believe if you didn't, right? There's the whole, all the details about the guy sat next to her and just, kicked it from under her. She's the director of Homeland Security, and a guy stole her purse, right out from under. Anyway, but speaking of Homeland Security, the other thing he apparently won on, immigration, just 7% of Americans buy Trump's claim that Albrego Garcia is a gang member. I mean, I think people in record time are seeing through. Again, the combination, as you write, Michael, of sycophants, total immunity that has made this flood the zone, as Steve Bannon would say, even worse this time. The American people aren't buying it. A new poll shows 27% of Americans believe that Garcia is a member of the gang. The number of Americans that believe Garcia should be brought back far exceeds those who believe he should be left in El Salvador.
Right. Well, I always caution against polls because America keeps electing the guy.
Right.
So they seem to recognize it and then immediately unrecognize it, which is part of the Trump thing, the fundamental strategy, which is you run a government by headlines, and the headlines are so large that they blot out anyone else's headlines. So the effect is that only one man exists in America, Donald Trump. And people vote for him.
My co-host Chris is not going to like when I say this, but Middle-Age Riot tweets, and in their defense, the authors of the Constitution could never have predicted that American voters would be this stupid. That's the other thing. I guess there's a lot of us that just cannot believe this after the disaster of the first term. I mean, I get that there's a massive amount of disinformation out there, and I guess it's good, Michael, that people are finally, if any of this polling is correct, breaking through the lies that again, because it would be different if, like I said, he won on issues that people just agreed with him on. It was a solid wall of lies. Haitians are eating your pets, and they're doing trans surgery on your kid in school without parents' permission, and on, right?
Well, as I say, and I think it's something that we have to concentrate on and think about, that attention is zero sum, which is to say, if he is getting it, nobody else is getting it, which means that there is only one message, and it has an insidious effect. I have to say that you start to kind of believe it more than you do the messages that you're not hearing.
Right. So you obviously Fire and Fury was a lot about the chaos and infighting story this morning. It was WWE. Elon Musk reportedly got into a loud shouting match with Trump's Treasury Secretary in front of Trump in the West Wing. Between their power struggle between, what's his name, Scott Bessent, and the struggle led to a heated exchange after Bessent accused Musk of going around him to have Gary Shapley installed as the head of the IRS. Not long after Shapley's appointment, he was replaced by Bessent's deputy. So, in some ways, it's the same stuff you wrote about, just this chaos and infighting.
And just remember what's being said here, practically speaking, is that Elon Musk, who is out of control and crazy, and we can go down the long line of things that would discredit him, but nevertheless, he's the most competent person in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And everyone hates him, according to reporting.
Yeah. Everyone in the White House, absolutely. I mean, I'm still in fairly close touch with a lot of people in the White House. And Elon has been, that was just, from day one, there's been the Elon countdown.
Right.
Well, first of all, 71% drop in profits in Tesla just in the however many days he's been, what's the other book? Everything Trump touches dies. I mean, and also he's trying to counsel him about the tariffs. And I mean, that's the other thing, Michael. It's like, who does Trump listen to now in your reporting and who you talk to?
Well, that's always been the case. Trump listens to no one. And if you've ever been with Trump, and I've spent a lot of time with Trump, you can see why, because he just never, ever, ever stops talking. It's just. I have never seen anything like that. And everybody around him is always, their kind of mouths are open, because it is like a freak of nature. There is no pause for breath. There's no pause in which anyone else might say anything.
And yet, weirdly,
and if there is, then he looks at you with this kind of like who are you? And then he goes on.
Adam Kinzinger says there's a very distinct smell. Is there? That emanates from Trump? What?
Stephanie.
I'm just asking.
Stephanie.
Yeah, no, I can. No, this is not true. As a matter of fact, when you're in his presence, it's. I mean, you have a lot of mixed feelings because first thing, the energy is kind of incredible, and your focus is on him, partly because the way he looks,
right?
But also because he is capable of dominating that space. So being with him is not an experience that you find repulsive. Quite the opposite. You're kind of drawn in, even guiltily so.
Yeah, that's with most sociopaths, I guess. And yet he says he's never met you and he doesn't know you. Right? That's the other thing. He says fake news, and I don't know what percentage still believes him. Like he said, I never said I wanted to get rid of the Fed chair, and he just said it and tweeted it the day before.
No, it doesn't matter. It just comes out, whatever is in his head. But that's one of the reasons that people find him, well, A, compelling, because you never know what he's going to say, and B, kind of attractive. I mean, all other politicians, Democrats particularly, are completely locked down and controlled. You don't have any insight into them. Trump, on the other hand, because it just comes out, whatever. There's no filter.
Yeah.
You kind of say, well, that's a weird form of honesty. He may have told more lies than anyone has ever told in the history of recorded lies, but at the same time, you don't feel he is hiding anything.
But don't you feel that's the point we're getting to, Michael? Whether you believe polls, but you're certainly seeing the protests and the town halls and this and that. I think the realities are starting to overcome his propaganda and his lies finally. I mean, he can say egg prices are down 95%. People know that's not effing true because they just went to the supermarket.
From your mouth to God's ears, of course. But as I say, we keep electing him.
Well, let's stop that now. Is he really going to run for a third term? I love that we're asking that question as if it's legal or possible.
Yeah, but even that is why would we be asking that question?
Right.
I mean, that's largely. I mean, it's baloney, and it's Steve Bannon baloney, which is a special kind of baloney. So he is not going to run for a third term.
So what's Michael? Your
final.
But
I'll tell you what happened. It's going to be the same thing. He will be out. A Democrat will win, and that will leave Trump back in Mar-a-Lago as the voice of the Republican Party. So he won't go away.
No, ever. So, I was going to say, this is the first 100 days, Michael. What's your, before you go, prediction? Dear God, what's next?
You just have to look. He's a simple machine, and he will do exactly what he did in his first term, and it will play out exactly the same way. No doubt, he will. The midterms will go against him. He will lose Congress. Congress will then investigate, possibly impeach him again, and he will become the same Trump victim that he likes to be, and we will go through again all of that.
Oh, God, rinse, lather, repeat. Oh, my God. All right, that's like about 14 more Michael Wolff books. The new one is How Trump, All or Nothing, How Trump Recaptured America. Michael, thanks so much for your time. Come back. There's got to be another book in like a month, because this is how these news cycles go. So thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Michael.
All right, there he goes. Michael Wolff. 48 minutes after the hour.
Hey, I'm John Fugelsang, and this weekend is the political comedy pay-per-view event of the year, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A very special pay-per-view for Americans who aren't afraid of political comedy or facts. Over a dozen comics, pundits, and influencers giving very different mini White House Correspondents' addresses, including Hal Sparks, Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, Frangela, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice of Star Talk, Dean Obadala, JoJo from Jurors, and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just added Miss Stephanie Miller. Catch Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner live Saturday, April 26th instead of that other thing, because when they silence the comedians, we get louder. Or stream it on demand for just $20.26, because that's a good number to think about. Meethook.live/not. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be deeply offensive to exactly the right people. Meethook.live/not.
Well, hey there. This spring, don't just clean, organize once and for all. It is time to pull all those important documents out of junk drawers, file cabinets, stacks of paper you have piled up, and those password-protected retirement and bank accounts on your computer. You know what I'm talking about. Your next of kin is going to need access to those details someday. That's why the Nokbox was created. The Nokbox is a complete system that helps you organize all of your accounts, possessions, and estate plans, and each Nokbox comes with a comprehensive checklist that helps your next of kin manage your estate when you're gone. From your insurance policies to your funeral directives, your dog's vet information, that's important for me, even the code to your storage unit, the Nokbox helps you organize it all. If you've got a household, you need a Nokbox. And now, for listeners of The Stephanie Miller Show, save 16% off the Nokbox of your choice. Visit thenokbox.com today, get yours, and use the code Stephanie for 16% off. Trust me, your future self and your family will thank you.
I'm curious, Jesus, you said that we have to love our neighbor.
Oh,
did you mean it like love your neighbor even if he voted for fascism, or is there a clause we missed? Do we still have to love them if they voted for racists and fascists, Jesus?
You know what? This is a bit of a tough one for me, I have to admit, because I do. It is in my DNA to love thy neighbor. That's sort of my whole thing.
Yeah,
I guess I would say you need to try to believe in. You got to try to look for the best in people, and I think a good reminder is that we get down in all this fighting on social media time and time again. It's exhausting, and you think everybody's evil. But when you actually go and meet your neighbor, maybe physically next door, you realize, oh, yeah, they did vote for Trump, and they do want to roll back my rights, but they are still a nice person.
It's very confusing because they're just brainwashed. Yeah.
But this is why I like your son so much. He won't let me hate these people. He won't let me hate them, even when they're begging for it.
Oh, I love you, Vibrants. Okay, tell me the truth. How many different beauty potions do you have sitting on your bathroom counter right now? If it's more than just Vibrant's Super C Serum, listen up. The ingredients in just this one bottle can replace your day creams, your eye creams, your night creams, neck creams, wrinkle creams, dark spot reducers, made right here in the US of A with the highest quality ingredients, including vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, vitamin E. And Super C Serum delivers noticeable results, and I love that citrusy smell, and my skin feels fantastic. Simplify your skincare routine. Get a healthier complexion and minimize those wrinkles and dark age spots. It's all right in this one little magic bottle. If you don't find it better than your current skincare routine, you can get a full refund. Just go to Vibriance.com/Stephanie. You can save up to 37% and get free shipping. That's VIBRIANCE.com/Stephanie. Keg Breath, denied a report by CBS News that he has a Mojo Dojo Casa makeup house.
Yep.
Near the Pentagon press briefing room, a defense official said Hegseth is doing his own makeup. Oh, that's not good when you're drunk, right, Bella? I mean, we've all done that, right?
Yeah,
like you leave thinking I look great, and then you come home and you're like, look like a, like a, what's that painter? What am I thinking of?
Picasso?
Yeah, like a Picasso. You come home, you're like, oh my God, what did I do with my lipstick?
Ladies, time the pregame right. Time it right.
Listen, drunkie, it's okay. Just don't do your own makeup.
He's going to end up looking like Demi Moore when she tries to apply her makeup in the substance and then smears it all over her face.
Picasso, that's right. See? This is just me flailing around needing help with references. Thank you, Bella.
Aw. You haven't seen the substance.
Huh? No. Jack agrees with us. She said Michelle Obama doesn't know an explanation to anyone for skipping out on the inauguration of a Russian asset. The idea that she would is insane. Thank you. Leave her alone. You're lucky she even performs for you. That is a lot. She's not first lady anymore. She doesn't have to go to... Okay, James says, after this is all over, we need to have a repeat of the Nuremberg trials. I am so serious. The crimes being committed by this current administration are atrocious. Thank you. And thank you for, I hope Michael Wolff is right about one thing, that he does lose Congress and get impeached. But,
I think he will.
Adam Schiff and others are trying to, lay the groundwork for a country again that is a nation of laws, not men. So, yeah. One last one. Robert Reich says, so the Republican Party has historically blocked paid sick leave, paid family and medical leave, universal child care, universal pre-K, expanded child tax credit programs to support reproductive health, and they're wondering why more people aren't having children. Thank you. You know who had a plan for all that? Who had really good ideas for all that?
Kamala.
Including... Oh, yeah, you didn't let me get to the end of it. Including buying, money for her first house. Kamala did. We would be having more babies. Kamala. Okay.
Oh, but don't worry. They want to give $5,000 to anyone that pumps out the baby.
Yeah, do it.
What's the difference, right?
Do it. Be a baby T-shirt cannon. Do it.
Be a baby machine.
Do it, Bella. We'll give
$5,000 each.
Yeah. I'll give you leave. We'll do the show from your house while you're recovering.
Yay.
And I babysit.
From her house with the seven dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be fun. Oh, that's a reality show. And me.
Yeah, you're Snow White with the 7 dudes.
All over the hill, Snow White. Kevin in D.C., hello.
Good morning, everybody. May I first make a quick shout out to Randy Rhodes. We'll absolutely miss her. She's just as good a kisser as you, and really will miss her skills.
Well, that hoa.
Bella, I'm impressed. You've been making great nerd quotes lately. Not quite as good as Jody, but getting up there.
Oh, she's total nerd. She's total nerd. That's why she fits in with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And finally, I want to say, piggybacking off of the African-American gentleman from Phoenix and D.L. Hughley, when this country reconciles, like I learned a long time ago, I only have to learn lessons once. When I saw older guys catcall at women and they never responded once, never said, "Yeah, come over, big boy," I realized it didn't work. When I went driving and found out that asking where for directions, unlike the average male, was smart, it's stupid to go wandering around. I learned.
Here you go, learning. We'll do some of that with Dana Goldberg.
In 4 days.
Well, most people know that staying hydrated is essential to nearly every bodily function, right? But 75% of Americans do not consume enough fluid daily. As we age, naturally bodily changes make staying hydrated even harder, especially without artificial additives or excess sugars. That's where Native Path comes in with extra help. Native Path's Hydrate is not just another drink mix. It is a thoughtfully designed formula packed with BCAAs and all 9 essential amino acids to help with muscle recovery and overall vitality. Plus, it's completely sugar-free and 100% natural. It goes in my bike bottle every single Saturday. With their Native Path Hydrate product, you can fuel your body with essential electrolytes at the cellular level for overall vitality. Unlike other hydration drink mixes that are designed for marathon runners and contain upwards of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, Native Hydrate contains just 230 milligrams of sodium. That's optimal for daily hydration, free of artificial flavors, sugars, and dyes. It is only count 'em, 5 calories per serving, and every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. Visit nativehydrate.com/Stephanie to see what Native Hydrate could do for your health. I love it. Drink up. That's nativehydrate.com/Stephanie.
Yes, the fun continues here in our fascist dictatorship.
Before we dive into it, I want to share with the people, our deeply sexually attractive audience, what we were talking about in the break. Because I find that sometimes, since I've been writing a book, I'm writing more in the mornings now than I used to. I was always an all night guy, and so lately I've been writing all these monologues for the show, all my opening rants, in the morning or by lunchtime, and then of course by the time it gets to 6 p.m. there have been so many issues of what the fuck fatigue, so many examples of cruelty, hypocrisy, criminality, or fuckery that I've got to throw out my monologue. Today, I had a whole long 20-minute rant about Doge not saving any money. But after the Kilmar Garcia case and the way they're after Van Holland and RFK with autism, I'm like, I gotta throw this one out. Bob, I've got about 9 20-minute monologues I've written for this show I haven't been able to do because the bad stuff keeps coming. How do you keep it balanced? Your show is so fun. You keep it so bright. You never get grounded in despair. I think we just have to accept the fact that we're not going to be able to. We might be able to write about all of this, but there's not going to be enough time to mock it all. There's just too much.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not so concerned about having time to mock it. I just hope someone's keeping a list in Congress or somewhere deep within the bowels of the Department of Justice or something, so that by the time we hopefully get to January of 2027 and hopefully have a Democratic Congress sworn in with hopefully large enough numbers to be able to do some serious investigations of all this, that we don't lose sight of Signalgate and daily abuses of power and the destruction of the economy and just going back to, I want to circle back to what I said about abuses of power 5 seconds ago.
Please.
Because there are abuses of power happening almost on the hour. I mean, we're talking about impeachable abuses of power. I just read before we linked up here that Donald Trump is trying to coerce CNN into doing like vanity TV projects about he and his family under threat of federal investigations.
Yeah.
Not only is that an abuse of power.
You mean like Jeff Bezos hiring Me Too all-star Brett Ratner to make a $30 million propaganda piece about how swell Melania Trump is? You mean something like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's outsourcing Lenny Riefenstahl work.
I hope that if Kilmar Garcia manages to get freed and make his way back to Maryland to be with his family, I hope he sues the pants off this entire group of unforgivable tyrants and monsters.
Oh, Bob, think about it.
Yeah, I mean, talk about defamation. Talk about smearing someone and ruining their reputation. They are every day lying about this guy, and on top of the constitutional crisis, that of course,
that's it.
The umbrella over everything, and add that to my list right after abuses of power. So here we are.
I'm looking at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security report on Kilmar Garcia, and it says subject has no criminal history. And we know he fled the gang violence. He wasn't a member of it. And we know he never lived in Western New York State, where a prison snitch said he was part of an MS-13 gang. He didn't live in New York State. We know all these things. We know he's made all of his immigration meetings. He has no criminal record. And yet the lies, Bob, that he was part of a gang, that he was a terrorist, I mean, that he was illegally here, that he was guilty of something. I mean, when this guy gets out, and many of these people, when they get out, the lawsuits for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
And I just want to see the lawsuits against Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio and Pam Bondi. And Bob, we have to include Caroline Leavitt. Can I play you today in the White House press room?
Please do. Yeah.
Here she is, Blasphemy Barbie, continue to paint Mr. Garcia as a violent gang member, and adding today, she sort of tries to shade him as a wife beater.
Yeah.
When trying to shame Democrats for working toward his freedom from an El Salvador gulag. How many lies can you hear in 34 seconds? Go.
So not only are Democrats rushing to defend an illegal criminal foreign terrorist gang member, but also an apparent woman beater. To set all of that aside, the basic fact that he was illegally inside our country and had a lawful deportation order made him subject to removal back to his home country of El Salvador. And if he ever ends up back in the United States, he would immediately be deported again. Nothing will change the fact that Abrego Garcia will never be a Maryland father. He will never live in the United States of America again.
Okay, I don't know about you. I caught in that one 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lies in 35 seconds.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them. She just started listing just random criminal things that he could be responsible for.
He's not illegal, not a criminal, not a terrorist, not a gang beater. We don't know if he's a woman beater. He hasn't been accused of that by his woman. Not here illegally, not a lawful deportation. He's not subject to removal. It's banned. They're not allowed to deport him, and nothing will change the fact. A different Congress will. And I guess the biggest lie is the crucifix on her chest. I give it to you, sir.
I mean, the horrifying tragedy of this story, John, the fact that one of the reasons why Garcia is here in the first place is because he and his family were being extorted, intimidated, and threatened by a gang known as Barrio 18 in San Salvador. So at the age of 16 years old, Garcia escaped all of that to come to the land of the free and the home of the brave, where we have human rights and constitutional rights and the Bill of Rights and all these things, all these privileges, and wanting a better life for himself and his family. His brother also came over. They reunited in Maryland. And from that point forward, he has done everything the right way.
Everything.
Citizens. It's for those that are here. Might be a student expressing the First Amendment rights who's on a visa. It might be a temporary resident, might be a non-citizen. Everyone in this country has that right to due process. It's one of the beauties of our Constitution, of our democracy, of the way that we are as a country. This issue with Kilmar, it's not about just immigration. I think it's really important that people understand that. This is about what kind of country are we going to be and how are we going to treat our own citizens, but also the people that are here in a way that is fair and that is just. And that's the tradition of the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Representative Robert Garcia of the great state of California. One more. He went down to El Salvador.
I've heard some folks say, we're being distracted from the issue of the economy. We should be able to do multiple things at once. We need to fight Elon Musk and Donald Trump and the destruction of our federal agencies. And we need to support and defend due process and the Constitution of this country. We can do all of those things.
Thank you.
Yes.
We can walk and chew gum, Democrats. Well, speaking of, what we're going to do? We're going to do that Saturday, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Because you know what? They can fire the comedian for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. They can't cancel comedy. They can't cancel free speech. Will said, now this is the nerd prom we deserve. Chris made a perfectly beautiful ice sign when I played Christy Noam yesterday.
Yes, I did.
He got an A+ for arts and crafts. Isn't it beautiful?
A+ wardrobe department.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
it's better than making you like a clay ashtray.
I also play a very passable Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, yeah.
Not as good as Frances Collier's Jasmine Crockett, but or Angela V. Shelton's Abby Phillip. But do the best I can. You know who does better than the best she can?
What?
Her.
Oh!
Yeah.
Raised by a wild pack of Jews, here's Dana Goldberg. Goldberg's here. Gold. Ha, ha, ha. Voted one of the top 5 funniest lesbians in America. Goldberg's here. I'll stick with you, baby, for 1,000 years. Nothing gets better when Dana's here. Dana's here.
Hi, Dana.
Good morning, everybody.
I'm so sorry you're going to be out of town this weekend, or we would have loved to have you. Well, you'll do the next one that we do.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You got Dana Goldberg live. You've got to experience in your lifetime,
Absolutely.
people. She's fantastic. You tweeted, for God's sakes, fired the DUI hire already. He's a national security threat. I mean, what is it going to take, right?
What was that kid that shared national security information online? He got 15 years, 5 years,
right.
15 years?
Tech Sierra.
Yeah, there's no reason this guy should not be literally in prison at this point. And if not, at the minimum, fired. He should be fired.
Yeah. It's extraordinary. It's the stuff Trump does. You're like, but the fact that he has made this entire party defend all of it disappearing people without due process. I mean, there is no law. Just handing Ukraine to Putin, a clearly drunk Secretary of Defense that's sharing national war plans.
Could you imagine just sending stuff to your girlfriend and being like, "Listen, what we're gonna do next weekend? Do you want to see? Do you want to see this?"
That's what I said. It clearly smells like drunken bragging. Guess what? I'm Secretary of Defense. Guess what we're doing to Yemen? It's just
look at these. They're attacking Hooters. What Hooters? Wait,
I'm surprised they didn't. I'm surprised they didn't bomb Hooters, given that it's him in charge. Wait a minute, that's not what I said.
Hi.
He pronounces it the same way Trump does, so they bomb Hooters. That's funny. Okay, speaking of funny, wow. So Kristi Noem, Homeland Security Director, is that my comedy music? Cannot even secure her own purse, as you know.
It's comedy music.
This story about Kristi
questions
Noem
about
not
this
being
whole
able
thing.
to secure her own purse is you know what someone mentioned though, Dana? Beside the fact that it's comical and funny because this whole thing's a clown show, law enforcement experts have raised concerns about whether the incident, which involved a thief getting so close to a cabinet official and then absconding with her belongings, may have been a lapse in security. It actually is another security breach.
It is.
Like the heck
you think?
This is a security breach that actually has high consequences, and it needs immediate and further review by the Secret Service and the DHS and other law enforcement partners. Well, of course they won't. But
of course they won't. On the Daily Beans, AG and I played the game. What was Kristi Noem's $3,000 in cash for? And someone wrote in and said it was to buy puppies for her new coat.
No. Noted puppy killer. The man who allegedly stole a Gucci bag loaded with cash was sitting at the table next to hers, according to video of the incident reviewed by the Secret Service. Where were the Secret Service? I don't understand. The suspect purposely moved close to Noem as he zeroed in on her Gucci bag near her feet. The thief, dressed in dark clothing, sat down at the empty table right next to Noem with his back facing her and used his left foot to slide the bag away. He surveyed the restaurant before eventually picking up the bag, covering it with his jacket and leaving. Only when Noem got up from the table did she realize her bag was missing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing makes me feel safer about her job than a Scooby-Doo villain is what that just described. Being able to just get a Gucci bag full of $3,000 away from her while she ate pancakes. I have no idea.
And he would have gotten away with it if it weren't for those meddling Secret Service kids.
That's right.
Who puts their
he was
Gucci
wearing a
bag?
mask, apparently, a medical mask. There's so many holes in this story, and I don't know. I know we're supposed to believe women. I just don't believe Kristi Noem.
I just don't believe. It's just not her.
Gucci bag on the floor.
Yeah.
On the floor.
Okay.
Now, who's going to put their Gucci bag on the floor?
That's what I'm
first of all?
saying. If I had a Gucci bag, I would treat it a lot better than that.
I mean, it would have its own table. I would order an appetizer.
No offense, Belle, but we'll never be able to afford a Gucci bag. But anyway,
don't like the
We'll
fancy.
get you and next time I'm in New York, I'll get you a Gucci bag,
Yeah.
Bella.
Don't the fanciest restaurants sometimes put a table down so that the lady can put her purse on it?
Sometimes there's like hooks on
There's
the
hooks.
table.
Yeah.
First of all, you made a mistake by calling Kristi Noem a lady.
Well,
that's
who you
my
calling
first
a lady?
mistake. Who are you calling a lady?
Dana,
Cosplay Barbie.
I had to save the story for you because one through line just seems to be they're all grifters. It's not just Trump, it's everybody. Caitlyn Jenner is now begging for money online after illegal fallout from her meme coin. She's accused of scamming her fans with cryptocurrency. Now she wants her remaining fans to bail out her legal fund for scamming the other fans.
Right.
I mean, okay. Your thoughts?
There's so many jokes in here that I'm not allowed to say.
All right.
They're just, I have no empathy or sympathy for this woman whatsoever.
All right, we'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you guys, obviously on the beans, talk about legal stuff a lot. I swear to God, I can't even keep track of where we are in this constitutional crisis. So wasn't the deadline 6 p.m. last night from this judge for them to prove what they're doing in complying with bringing Garcia back, right? The Trump administration continued to resist a federal judge's orders to produce information about the steps it has taken, if any, I think we know the answer, none. Right. Have taken to return a Maryland man who was mistakenly deported. A U.S. District Judge Paul Azinis in Maryland castigated the Trump administration in a written filing Tuesday for ignoring her orders, obstructing the legal process, and acting in bad faith by refusing to provide information. She gave them till 6 p.m. last night. So I don't know what they did, what they provided or not. The White House has instead filed a sealed motion for a stay. That's what they always do, right? Just delay. The administration also requesting relief from providing daily status updates on Garcia's status and efforts to return him. I don't understand where we are, Dana. The Supreme Court has ruled, right? And so what, is there a time frame on that?
I mean, this is such a massive level of Trump never being able to admit he made a mistake. But this is such a massive global level of that. And I think that's a big part of it is if they bring him home, they have to admit they weren't. They already did admit, but they fired the lawyer who said that they messed up. But it would have to be Trump. And I don't see that happening. I just want them to make sure this man stays safe. But he should, this is a litmus test. This is a litmus test for our leadership. This is a litmus test for the people. How enraged are we going to get when someone is refused due process? How enraged are we going to get if there's RFK Jr. is doing some sort of a list of people with autism? How enraged are we going to get? And they're pushing the envelope. It is time to get enraged. Now is the time to tell them this is not okay, because these are all litmus tests to see how this country is going to respond.
Yeah. So again, the Supreme Court, if even this Supreme Court ruled 9-0, right? But I mean, but what are they going to do about compliance, right? And then the last ruling you had, of course, Alito and Thomas, like, so. And this Supreme Court, this is how it's going to be, I guess. They signaling support for religious parents against LGBTQ plus books. So they're asking the 9 justices to decide if requiring books with LGBTQ themes as part of elementary school curriculum is a violation of religious freedom. The justice signaled support for the argument presented by the plaintiffs' lawyers. In the last several years, the conservative-leaning court has ruled in favor of those making religious freedom claims, even if at the expense of the rights of LGBTQ people. As one of the plaintiffs said, if we start opting out of this, what else are we going to do? Opt out of biology because they believe in creationism? How is this so different from Berlin in the early 1930s? Did we not learn from this? Referencing Nazi book burning campaigns.
No, absolutely not. And it's staggering the mirroring of this. And that's exactly what it is. Like, we have to. It also goes the other way, though. Think about it. You got parents who are going to say, okay, I don't want my kid to partake in any stories that have to do with heterosexual couples. How is that any different? How is that any different?
Right.
On the basis of your own beliefs, your own religious beliefs, because you get to make up religions every day. People make up religions every single day. We could be the church of no homo or no hetero. I mean, literally, it's ridiculous.
What's Rude Pundit's the Church of Lizardo? He believes in a giant
lizard,
ripped lizard,
ripped lizard. That's uncut.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Here's the good news: we are winning.
Wait, uncut like a puppet show? Uncut? Is that what we're talking about?
It's a penis joke because it's Rude Pundit. Yeah.
It's like a puppet show.
Like a puppet show.
They call it a puppet show, Chris?
Exactly. Yes, like a puppet show.
It's like, the curtain gets pulled back and there's the actor.
He's very fickle. He used to worship the flying spaghetti monster. Right. He's very fickle with his religious beliefs. So here's the good news. We are winning in a lot of cases. 2 major law firms are expected to ask separate judges to permanently block Trump's executive orders that were designed to punish them and hurt their business operations. Courts last month temporarily halted enforcement of key provisions of both orders, but the firms are in court asking for edicts to be struck down in their entirety. All of these law firms should be banding together, Dana, not some of them bending the knee and some of them fighting. If everybody fights, he is powerless, and they're going to win on the law.
I keep saying that. You've got attorneys general across this country, a dozen of them now suing preemptively, saying, you're not going to do this in our state. You've got now Minnesota coming forward and saying, we're not going to bend the knee to your trans bans. I mean, all of this stuff, if people just got in groups and fought back in large numbers like this, it would make them seem so weak. What are you going to do?
Right. 12 blue states sued Trump over illegal tariffs. They sued in the U.S. Court of International Trade to stop the tariff policy, saying it's unlawful, has brought chaos to the American economy. It challenged Trump's claim he could arbitrarily impose tariffs based on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act. He keeps declaring emergencies that are not emergencies. And that's why these aren't going to hold up in court, right?
That's why he thinks he's bypassing Congress, because Congress holds, the purse strings. But he thinks if he can declare an emergency from a law that, I don't know, was enacted 200 years ago, and that's exactly what they keep doing, that he thinks he can work around it. It's not going to work. We're winning in the courts. Right. People are suing.
We are not at war. You can't claim we're being invaded. It's none of that legally. So wait, do I have this one? I love the way, noted Cabbage Patch doll, J.D. Vance said.
I think this idea that somehow that we couldn't deport an MS-13 gang member, and he was an MS-13 gang member, is preposterous. And I think there's actually a deeper issue going on, which is that you see some radical judges at the district court level who are trying to layer so much quote-unquote process on top of the immigration system that it makes it impossible to function.
Process.
It's too much due process, Dana. You see what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's too much.
It gums up the works.
It's like Trump said, we can't give everybody a trial.
And let's remind them that he came into this country under the Trump, from I understand, he registered under the last Trump administration. He checked in every single year with the Trump administration and a year after that during the Biden administration, because he had to do that legally. He was never labeled a terrorist. He was never labeled a gang member. This is a mistake that they made, and they know this. They know it.
They admitted it. This is why they said it was a mistake.
Right. Which is why they fired the lawyer. That was like, we screwed up.
Dude, Dana and I have to do everything. 20 minutes.
Pretty much.
The lesbians are exhausted. I love you, Vibrants. Okay, tell me the truth. How many different beauty potions do you have sitting on your bathroom counter right now? If it's more than just Vibrant's Super C Serum, listen up. The ingredients in just this one bottle can replace your day creams, your eye creams, your night creams, neck creams, wrinkle creams, dark spot reducers, made right here in the US of A with the highest quality ingredients, including vitamin C, hyaluronic acid, vitamin B5, vitamin E, and Super C Serum delivers noticeable results. And I love that citrusy smell, and my skin feels fantastic. Simplify your skincare routine. Get a healthier complexion and minimize those wrinkles and dark age spots. It's all right in this one little magic bottle. If you don't find it better than your current skincare routine, you can get a full refund. Just go to Vibriance.com/Stephanie. You can save up to 37% and get free shipping. That's VIBRIANCE.com/Stephanie.
Hey, I'm John Fugelsang, and this weekend is the political comedy pay-per-view event of the year, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A very special pay-per-view for Americans who aren't afraid of political comedy or facts. Over a dozen comics, pundits, and influencers giving very different mini White House Correspondents' addresses, including Hal Sparks, Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, Frangela, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice of Star Talk, Dean Obadala, JoJo from Jurors, and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just added, Miss Stephanie Miller. Catch Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner live Saturday, April 26th, instead of that other thing, because when they silence the comedians, we get louder. Or stream it on demand for just $20.26, because that's a good number to think about. Meethook.live/not. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be deeply offensive to exactly the right people. Meethook.live/not. I'm curious, Jesus, you said that we have to love our neighbor.
Oh,
did you mean it like love your neighbor even if he voted for fascism, or is there a clause we missed? Do we still have to love them if they voted for racists and fascists, Jesus?
You know what? This is a bit of a tough one for me, I have to admit, because I do. It is in my DNA to love thy neighbor. That's sort of my whole thing.
Yeah, you're good.
I guess I would say you need to try to believe. You got to try to look for the best in people. And I think a good reminder is that we get down in all this fighting on social media time and time again. It's exhausting and you think everybody's evil. But when you actually go and meet your neighbor, maybe physically next door, you realize, oh, yeah, they did vote for Trump and they do want to roll back my rights, but they are still a nice person.
It's very confusing because they're just brainwashed. Yeah.
But this is why I like your son so much. He won't let me hate these people. He won't let me hate them, even when they're begging for it.
Well, most people know that staying hydrated is essential to nearly every bodily function, right? But 75% of Americans do not consume enough fluid daily. As we age, naturally bodily changes make staying hydrated even harder, especially without artificial additives or excess sugars. That's where Native Path comes in with extra help. Native Path's Hydrate is not just another drink mix. It is a thoughtfully designed formula packed with BCAAs and all 9 essential amino acids to help with muscle recovery and overall vitality. Plus, it's completely sugar-free and 100% natural. It goes in my bike bottle every single Saturday. With their Native Path Hydrate product, you can fuel your body with essential electrolytes at the cellular level for overall vitality. Unlike other hydration drink mixes that are designed for marathon runners and contain upwards of 1,000 milligrams of sodium, Native Hydrate contains just 230 milligrams of sodium. That's optimal for daily hydration, free of artificial flavors, sugars, and dyes. It is only 5 calories per serving, and every order comes with a 365-day money-back guarantee, so you can try it risk-free. Visit nativehydrate.com/Stephanie to see what Native Hydrate could do for your health. I love it. Drink up. That's nativehydrate.com/Stephanie.
How are you?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my name is Tony. I'm a 71-year-old black man. And I wanted to talk about this last election. It just hurt me to my heart. But I actually canvassed in Reno, Nevada, in Washoe County. And it was the worst experience I've had since I've been doing this. And I've been doing every major election since '08.
Yeah.
The Latino community did not want to hear anything we had to say. They actually let their dogs out on us.
Aye.
They answered the doors with weapons.
Wow.
I tried to talk to a lot of the senior Latinos, and they told me what I was saying wasn't true. It was just Democratic propaganda about our Social Security and our health care.
Yeah, Tony, I'm
like,
so sorry we're out of time, but I had the same experience. I was on, just working phone calling. What did they call that? Phone banking.
Banking, yes.
Sorry, yeah. But I got to tell you, Dana, we just did polling today. Not only are his poll numbers in the toilet, what did I say with Hispanic voters, to his point? He's underwater like 25 points.
Yeah.
So this is the fastest F around and find out, I think, in political history. We'll talk
and
about
to that fine gentleman, thank you for canvassing for the last set.
Well, hey there. This spring, don't just clean, organize once and for all. It is time to pull all those important documents out of junk drawers, file cabinets, stacks of paper you have piled up, and those password-protected retirement and bank accounts on your computer. You know what I'm talking about. Your next of kin is going to need access to those details someday. That's why the Nokbox was created. The Nokbox is a complete system that helps you organize all of your accounts, possessions, and estate plans, and each Nokbox comes with a comprehensive checklist that helps your next of kin manage your estate when you're gone. From your insurance policies to your funeral directives, your dog's vet information, that's important for me, even the code to your storage unit, the Nokbox helps you organize it all. If you've got a household, you need a Nokbox. And now, for listeners of The Stephanie Miller Show, save 16% off the Nokbox of your choice. Visit thenokbox.com today, get yours, and use the code Stephanie for 16% off. Trust me, your future self and your family will thank you.
Hey, I'm John Fugelsang, and this weekend is the political comedy pay-per-view event of the year, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner. A very special pay-per-view for Americans who aren't afraid of political comedy or facts. Over a dozen comics, pundits, and influencers giving very different mini White House Correspondents' addresses, including Hal Sparks, Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, Frangela, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice of Star Talk, Dino Badala, JoJo from Jurors, and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just added, Miss Stephanie Miller. Catch Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner live Saturday, April 26th, instead of that other thing, because when they silence the comedians, we get louder. Or stream it on demand for just $20.26, because that's a good number to think about. Meethook.live/not. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be deeply offensive to exactly the right people. Meethook.live/not.
Hi, and welcome back to day 94 of the first 100 days of the brand new Donald Trump reign of terror. Today, 12 states filed suit against the Donald Trump administration for the tariffs that Donald has imposed, saying that they're unlawful taxes on the citizens of those states. Donald Trump really didn't care about that. He was too busy walking out to the front lawn of the White House, gesticulating wildly as reporters gathered and looked on. And then as he tried to walk back into the White House through the palm room doors, about a dozen reporters cornered him, and he told us America's making a lot of money. It's really great. On the tariffs that he has backed off on. In the meantime, we found out the reason why he was there. He wants to put a big 100-foot flag in the front lawn of the White House and the back lawn, all courtesy of Donald Trump. Now, you can say what you want about him trying to overcompensate for something to do with flagpoles, or maybe he just wanted to have the opportunity to sit on something patriotic. But at the same time, it shows you that with less than a week to go, Donald Trump is at 100 days, or nearly 100 days, as devoid of reality in his everyday existence as a lunatic in a loony bin. See you tomorrow.
Hey, fellow sexy liberals on the Stephanie Miller Show. I'm Tara Dublin.
And I'm Tara Devlin.
And we are so excited to have a brand new show on the Political Voices Network. Guess what it's called?
The Tara Show.
Very clever. Join us every Thursday live, 2 p.m. on the East Coast, 11 a.m. on the West Coast, right here on the Political Voices Network.
Disruption is one thing. Madness is something entirely different. He is a reality show businessman. This amateur hour for our federal government, that is what is most petrifying. So to the Democratic Party, I ask, what about you? The least the opposition party can do is join the fight.
because that's exactly what they are doing. You have seen Democrat elected officials who swear an oath to stand up for their constituents and law-abiding American citizens spending more time advocating for illegal alien criminals, gangbangers, and wife beaters in the case of Abrego Garcia from Maryland.
Oh, Caroline.
Oh, no, girl.
I hope they sue these people
I
for
hope
defamation.
they sue the bejesus out of them. They keep
my
repeating things that they will not say in court, that have not been proven in court. They keep smearing him over and over. We were doing the story yesterday, Dana. They published her home address. She had to move to a safe house with her kids, his wife. I mean, it's...
The Democrat Party is full-blown crazy.
Okay, thanks, Caroline. I don't need to again, Caroline. Thanks.
She repeats herself a lot. I mean, have you ever listened to one of the pressers? My God.
We just spent some time looking at pre and post plastic surgery photos. She's only 27.
Yeah.
And we also looked at Christy Nome. I'm not sure if that was a compliment, Dana. You said, "Oh, I'm glad you had to play Christy Nome." I'm like, did I? There's so little time, so many crazy right-wing bitches. Like we were saying, in the time we taped that, then Nancy Mace had her latest meltdown with
with the guy.
I don't even know. She provokes a fight with a gay man that didn't even identify himself as gay, but she did. And then, she provokes him, and then drops a bunch of F-bombs, and then she posts it like it's something to be proud of, right?
Someone has got to have dirt and information on what the 180 was that took her from like an LGBTQ ally to this horrible monster that she is today. Something had to have happened.
Yeah. She just seems a little, I don't know what the word is exactly, but not, glued together entirely.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So we talked about legal stuff. The last one, Trump frequently fires up Truth Social to lob attacks at his opponents, but one post Wednesday morning left readers scratching their heads over an apparent flipping of roles. He was bashing the latest Judge Beryl Howell. He said, Beryl Howell's an unmitigated train wreck, no justice. Setting aside the president's insults for the judge, he's not suing Perkins Coie in any case before Judge Beryl Howell. She's the judge assigned to Perkins Coie's lawsuit against his administration. Kyle Cheney says Trump appears confused here. He's suing Perkins Coie in Florida in a case before Judge Middlebrooks that has been dismissed and resulted in sanctions against him and Alina Habba.
Bless you.
Thank you. Perkins Coie is suing him before Judge Howell over his retaliatory executive order. He can't even keep track of who to bash and why.
He's not well. And you can always tell when it's his Truth Social posts and not someone else posting for him, because obviously if someone else posts, even if they try and mimic his language, usually the grammar's correct, the punctuation's correct. There's not a lot of capitalized words out of nowhere, but you can always tell when it's his, and that was definitely one of his.
Yeah. Oh, so little time, so many new right-wing crazy bitches.
Okay.
Who's this from? Hey, Sherry Biggs, Republican of South Carolina.
Oh,
Come on down. Here we go.
I believe the people trust President Trump.
Do they?
We knew that this was not going to be an easy road, and I believe that President Trump is the ultimate negotiator, and we will get there. We're just having a few bumps in the road right now.
Oh, in the immortal words of Betty Davis, fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Okay, so 37% approval rating on the economy. So, no, I don't think the American people think.
That's a pothole.
No, I don't think they think we're going to get there. Yep.
Yes, exactly.
And they have their talking points. Everyone else is regurgitating that he's a master negotiator. He's a master at this. He's a master at that. He could do no wrong. Everyone is repeating the same thing.
Yeah.
They have their marching orders. They are following them.
Yeah, here we go, Sherry.
We talk about the border crisis, and everyone feels comfortable that President Trump has made good decisions to close down the border to secure our country. And I know the people in South Carolina's 3rd District feel that way. So I trust in what he's doing, and I believe we're going to get there. We just have to give him a little bit of time and patience to get us out of this mess that President Biden created.
Is that me?
Yeah,
Wait.
that's you.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay. I just, you know what I was doing during that? I was like, do not make fun of her Southern accent. Do not make fun of her. Okay. But I'm just, it's just that stereotype, bless her heart, of just, we just got to trust.
I mean, has anyone seen her and Lindsay in the same room? They're both South Carolina. I'm just asking.
Oh, by the way, one of our listeners is filling in some fun facts about one of the other crazy right-wing bitches we found yesterday.
Okay.
That I'd not heard of. Demetrius says some helpful info on racist Republican Representative Diana Harshbarger. Oh, excuse me, it's pronounced Harshbarger.
Hofhar.
Yes, it's right. She's married to Dr.
Furrier.
Dr. Hofhar.
HF.
I mentioned her yesterday. She's the one that called, what is it? What do you call it? What's his name? Hang on. Oh, Congressman Al Green. She called him boy.
Yeah.
He's a African-American gentleman. Dear Ms. Miller, I am as a loud and proud progressive of Northeast Tennessee for over 18 years. I was thrilled to hear you mention this morning of my reprehensible Republican representative's racist remarks regarding her esteemed colleague, Congressman Al Green. There's actually a whole lot more of her craven cracker folk Christian craziness.
Okay.
She called transgender folks fairies and suggested cage matches as a fundraising option. 2022, she was described as one of Congress's most active traders. She sold defense contractor stocks in right the days after Russia invaded Ukraine.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Few are aware of her vehemently denying all involvement as her husband pled guilty and did federal time for mislabeling Chinese medications for dialysis patients while she was one of only 2 officers of the company with him. Most appreciatively yours in the fight and the fart jokes, Jimmy of East Tennessee.
And what was her name?
Harshbarger.
Jimmy with the receipts.
Yes, right. Bar Gargler. Diana Bar Gargler.
Bar Gargler?
Something like that. Harshbarger. Hang on. I know I got it. Harshbarger. Okay.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Oh, yeah. Dana. Okay. So, speaking of, by the way, approval ratings and polling.
Oh, yeah.
CNN's data reporter argues Pete Hegseth's stunning unpopularity is dragging Trump down. That's when Trump might cut him loose. It's only when it's about him, when it hurts him, right?
That's possible.
Harry Enten said Pete Hegseth is a problem for Donald Trump. You'd expect in terms of popularity in the Trump administration. Is Trump himself. So he said, look at where Pete Hegseth is. He's way underwater at minus 14 percentage points, nearly 10 points below where Trump himself is. He said, I think this sort of gives the game away. Using, a signal to discuss military plans is not appropriate. You rarely find 3/4 of Americans agreeing on anything, but they agree on this, that using signal to discuss military plans is a big no-no.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm taking some solace in that, Dana, that, and again, I know, like, the polls, you think, but man, it's poll after poll after poll on subject after subject.
But I tell you what, in order to get rid of Hegseth, they're going to have to give him a big old payout because he is a Fox News co-host. He knows where the bodies are buried. I'm sure they've partied together. I'm sure he's seen some stuff. So if he does this, there's going to be an NDA and a big old payout for him to keep his mouth shut because I bet he's got dirt on Trump.
Yeah. Well, and, here's the reporting that's starting. Pete Hegseth in full paranoia mode. Oh, there's nothing more fun than a paranoid drunk. White House officials troubled by Pentagon chaos. CNN is reporting that White House officials are troubled by the disarray in the Pentagon. But Pete Hegseth, for now, unlikely to be dismissed. He is reportedly troubled by the alleged total chaos reported by his former spokesperson and is in full paranoia back against the wall mode. Oh, great. He's got the nuclear codes. Given the access these CNN journalists have with the White House, perhaps the larger story is some Trump officials are now actively leaking negative stories about Hegseth. I mean, that seems clear, right?
I mean, what was that kid in, I think it was South Carolina, that the Republicans basically leaked all the stories on after he said he was going to out them about their cocaine and orgy parties? What was that kid's name?
The cousin humper. The cousin face humper. What's his name?
Oh, God. I can't remember.
He was that young kid, and I'm only saying this as a descriptor, but he was that young kid in the wheelchair.
Yeah. Oh.
I love that none of us can remember him.
Cawthorn? No. What's
Madison
Cawthorn? Madison Cawthorn.
Madison Cawthorn.
Hold
This
your
feels
calls.
like one of those things that they're going to start like putting out information on Pete Hegseth and being like, "Oh, you were involved in this, you're involved in this," because he's going to spill some stuff on the way out. Literally his bourbon and all the tea.
All right, so we wanted to talk. We wanted to talk about Pete Buttigieg. I love the headline. Pete Buttigieg drops by MAGA Bro podcast and instantly wins them over.
Yep.
We're just obviously starting to talk about 2028, and we were just saying. I think like he does what we thought like Gavin Newsom did, but I think he does it better. I mean, he's great at communicating.
He's successful at it.
Right. Whereas Dana, we were talking yesterday. Oh, first of all, I got my first hater for 2028. They said, apparently the primaries already happened.
Oh, okay.
They said, Gavin Newsom is our nominee, and you're just hurting him, and so you're going to...
God
I'm
forbid.
responsible for the downfall of our Democratic Party. Again, something.
Whatever.
I just was saying he feels to me, Dana, like a finger in the wind. Like he doesn't want to, he looked at Kamala and thought, I don't want to be the San Francisco gay supporting guy. So he's trying to, he look at me.
Are we talking about
yucking it up? I'm talking about Newsom, yucking it up with, Charlie Kirk.
Neo-Nazis?
Steve Bannon. Yes. And throwing trans people under the bus and, he's trying to move to the center. But it just feels so... I think what people want is authenticity. It just feels like finger to the wind poll testing.
I will say this on record, on live radio. I do not want Newsom to be our nominee. We will lose our butt in the next election if Newsom is our nominee. Absolutely not.
I mean, we've always loved him when we worked Current with him, when he's out front early on in gay rights and all that. But I just, anyway, my point is...
I agree with you. I
hope
used to
the
have a lot of
country's
respect for him.
I hate to say it, I hope the country's not too homophobic, because Pete Buttigieg would be fantastic. And he does, and he is good at going into enemy territory and making the case. And this is I've never heard of this, whatever douche bro podcast this is. Flagrant, do you know this one?
Never heard of it in my life.
Okay.
Yeah.
The host supports Trump because he's got 3 baby mamas and is grabbing, left and right.
Oh.
You'll be surprised to know the fan base is largely young men.
Oh, who would have guessed?
Yeah, almost entirely young men.
Okay.
So he was one of many podcasts in the so-called manosphere that hosted the current president in the lead up to the election. Buttigieg argues for the importance of showing up in places where Democrats are outnumbered. And he apparently won them over, And so he's good at that. He is good at going on Fox News, right? I mean...
Absolutely. He is very good at that. I as we get closer to the election, obviously I'll have a lot more to say about it. But I love Pete. I've always loved Pete. I think he's one of the best orators we have in our party. He also going on Fox News and never falling for the gotcha moments. He always puts them in those situations.
But that's what we loved about Newsom. He did the same thing. He was great as an advocate for Kamala and Biden and going on Fox News and mixing it up. It's like, but lately it's like he's beating up on Democrats, and we're like,
unless
that's not.
He's going in as a
meet
Trojan
the moment.
horse.
Read the room. It's not what we want.
Unless he's going in as a Trojan horse, I'm out. Like, unless he's saying these things and doing these things just to get in there and then being like, you know what? I'm going to pull a mansion in a cinema. I'm actually voting against everything that you just said, and I support trans kids, and I support this, and I support that, but it's disgusting watching it happen.
Yeah, Pete never beats up on Democrats. No. I mean, I thought this was really smart. This was from the podcast. He said, it would never have been possible to invent the internet through a private company because you never would have gotten that kind of capital you need. Companies can do $1 billion ideas, but $1 trillion ideas, like inventing the internet, that requires basic research. That's the kind of thing the government's supposed to do. The boys were impressed. We're turning into such libs already, one of them said. That's fire, said another. Wow. I mean, he's winning them over with ideas. And then I wanted to get your reaction to this story I thought was interesting about how we talk to the other side. He said, I ran into this woman in the lobby of a county city building. I'm walking to work. I know she's a little more conservative. She comes up and says, I ran into your friend. He's wonderful. Was Chasten, it was his husband. But he said it was one of those moments, one very important thing to recognize is she was signaling something that's pretty big for her. I don't know exactly, but I can guess that she thought about or talked about gay people probably she hadn't all her life. She knew me. She met him. He's wonderful. Versus if I treated her to a lecture on the difference between friend and partner, that would have pushed her right back into the arms of those people who don't want anything good for me. And I
agree with him 100%, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I am one of those people, like, you have to look at the messenger and where these people come from, and if they are trying, meet them in that space, because if you push back and push them back to MAGA, like they literally are trying to validate Pete and Chasten's relationship in the best way she knows how.
Right. That would be the too woke, PC, cancel culture thing that they keep painting us with.
I am the school of like, okay, they're making an effort. Let's meet them in that space.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, meet them where they are and just go, thank you. Yeah, he is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. He is wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, so, all right. 48 minutes after the hour, this portion of the show.
Hey, I'm John Fugelsang, and this weekend is the political comedy pay-per-view event of the year, not the White House Correspondents' Dinner, a very special pay-per-view for Americans who aren't afraid of political comedy or facts. Over a dozen comics, pundits, and influencers giving very different mini White House Correspondents' addresses, including Hal Sparks, Elaine Boozler, Alonzo Bowden, Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck, Glenn Kirshner, Allison Gill of Mueller, She Wrote, Frangela, Brooklyn Dad Defiant, Chuck Nice of Star Talk, Dino Badala, JoJo from Jurors, and Frank Conniff of Mystery Science Theater 3000. Just added, Miss Stephanie Miller. Catch Not the White House Correspondents' Dinner live Saturday, April 26th, instead of that other thing, because when they silence the comedians, we get louder. Or stream it on demand for just $20.26, because that's a good number to think about. Meethook.live/not. It's going to be inspiring. It's going to be hilarious. It's going to be deeply offensive to exactly the right people. Meethook.live/not.
Well, hey there. This spring, don't just clean, organize once and for all. It is time to pull all those important documents out of junk drawers, file cabinets, stacks of paper you have piled up, and those password-protected retirement and bank accounts on your computer. You know what I'm talking about. Your next of kin is going to need access to those details someday. That's why the Nokbox was created. The Nokbox is a complete system that helps you organize all of your accounts, possessions, and estate plans, and each Nokbox comes with a comprehensive checklist that helps your next of kin manage your estate when you're gone. From your insurance policies to your funeral directives, your dog's vet information, that's important for me, even the code to your storage unit, the Nokbox helps you organize it all. If you've got a household, you need a Nokbox. And now, for listeners of The Stephanie Miller Show, save 16% off the Nokbox of your choice. Visit thenokbox.com today, get yours, and use the code Stephanie for 16% off. Trust me, your future self and your family will thank you.
I'm curious, Jesus, you said that we have to love our neighbor.
Oh,
did you mean it like love your neighbor even if he voted for fascism, or is there a clause we missed? Do we still have to love them if they voted for racists and fascists, Jesus?
You know what? This is a bit of a tough one for me, I have to admit, because it is in my DNA to love thy neighbor. That's sort of my whole thing.
Yeah, you're good.
I guess I would say you need to try to believe you got to try to look for the best in people. And I think a good reminder is that we get down in all this fighting on social media time and time again. It's exhausting and you think everybody's evil. But when you actually go and meet your neighbor, maybe physically next door, you realize, oh, yeah, they did vote for Trump and they do want to roll back my rights, but they are still a nice person.
It's very confusing because they're just brainwashed. Yeah.
But this is why I like your son so much. He won't let me hate these people. He won't let me hate them, even when they're begging for it.
what do you call it? John Fugelsang, Frangela, and Representative Eric Swalwell
Yes.
on the big show. Alpha liberals. Woot.
What?
Speaking of which, what? Dana Goldberg's here. And so
Yeah.
everything
Good
is
morning.
better. The headline is Elon Musk warns rare earth magnet shortage may delay Tesla's robots. Whew, we have some time before the robots will kill us all.
Oh, boy.
As someone said it best, though, Dana, on TV about this ridiculous tariff thing, which it's like, how dumb was that to punish the country that gives us the stuff that we make all our stuff with? Right?
And that's exactly it. I mean, we have so many things that we don't, and I don't want to say we don't have the talent, but if they do talk about what's going on over there, there are incredibly brilliant people in China that are making things that we need, here.
Yep. Trump said yesterday, he said that raising taxes on the uber rich would be disruptive. Oh, Are you okay? So I think it'd be disruptive because a lot of the millionaires would leave the country. Oh, snowflakes. Get the out. That would be bad because the wealthy people pay the taxes. Not under your administration, they don't.
Oh, my God.
We keep saying, this is a myth, right? That rich people have been saying forever. They won't create jobs unless we don't, tax them.
So many of the immigrants actually pay more federal taxes than the billionaires that are in this country.
Right.
So many of them.
Right. Yeah, I love that they said that, illegal immigrants don't pay taxes, but they're using the IRS to track them now.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah, why do you keep raiding workplaces if they're not working here?
Yep.
I love that, they're starting to eat their own.
Oh.
Senator Tom Cotton pleaded with Trump to reconsider his denial of disaster relief after tornadoes hit Arkansas. Okay. Sarah Huckabee Sanders also begging. Hey, girl. Cotton has a history of voting against disaster relief for other states. He said, I don't think Arkansas needs to bail out the Northeast, he said, in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy. Well, now Trump's, whatever it is, vindictiveness, whatever, is going to hit them too.
Absolutely.
And if he does
FAFO, we're in it.
And if he does cave, that also is just egregious, Dana. That it's like, only red states. Things that hurt people are only gonna. He's only gonna give anyone that sucks up to him, he'll give an exception. But
that's exactly what it is. You kiss the ring, he'll send you money.
Yep. So far, karma's a bitch, man. It's like these are all the people that voted against and helping any blue state ever, and now here they are. And by the way, destroying FEMA and all this stuff they're doing, it's gonna hurt everybody. It's gonna
Absolutely.
hurt. Yeah.
They don't care about if you are not a white, rich billionaire, mostly male, they don't care about you. It's a smash and grab. They're taking what they can. They're going to walk away after this and leave this disaster in their wake. You know that it happens every single time there's a Republican president. The Democrat cleans up the economy.
Yeah.
We've seen this over and over. It's not just BS. There is all the facts, proofs of whatever you want to see about this in our economy. It's happened every single cycle.
Yeah. No, I said that. I've said, when are we going to break this stranglehold of people saying Republicans are better on the economy when they most clearly are not? So maybe this will be it. Maybe this is what.
Yeah. You take the people that know what they're talking about economically. I know we're going on a hard break and ending the show, but there are charts that show this every time.